Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you folks so much for joining us on Crime and Sports, the flagship.
Yeah.
God, we love this show. Can we just tell, it doesn't matter why we need to say this today, but we love this show. This show is our heart and our soul, and it's like for both of us, it's a third child.
Yeah.
We just love this damn show so much, and we can't wait to do it.
Pirate flag.
That's what
right
it is.
Up that mast.
Oh, I love it so much. So I can't wait for this today. Before we get into it, because we have a crazy ass story, obviously. When don't we have a crazy story? It wouldn't be on the show if it wasn't a crazy story.
Right.
I'd look at it and go, not good enough. Let's get this guy. And this is who we have here. But before we get into that, thank you, everyone, this week for all of your reviews on Apple Podcasts. That purple icon, they help for some reason. We don't know why, but they do. The way Apple Podcasts algorithm works, it's a funky algorithm. It dances and it needs to be fed with reviews, apparently, and that helps drive you up the charts, and then people see you and it helps the show and that sort of thing. So if you haven't done it yet, please give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. You can say anything you want. Just, following instructions, following directions, help. Yeah. I'm trapped in here. It doesn't matter. We're cool with that. That's fine.
This thing moonwalks.
Yeah, all good. So please do that if you haven't yet. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports merchandise and all of your small town murder merchandise. And if you're not listening to Small Town Murder, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. If you like crazy stories of crime, then
everybody else is listening.
That's where to go. Yeah. So check out the Small Town Murder, absolutely. And most of all, get tickets to live shows.
Right.
Live shows coming up for Small Town Murder. The Crime and Sports one sold out, but live shows for Small Town Murder. Columbus, Ohio, just went on sale today.
It did.
So shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to Columbus, Ohio. I think it's in November or something, but there was a delay in when those tickets went on sale.
Some fucking systems.
Whatever it is. But now they're on sale, so come see us, Columbus. We can't wait to see you there. That'll be fun. And of course, first weekend of the tour is sold out, but February 15th and 16th, Indianapolis and Louisville.
Right.
Get your asses there. We can't wait to see you. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be interesting.
We're excited about it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you there. Louisville's got to be good.
I'm told.
Muhammad Ali, Hunter Thompson, Jim Cornette. That's a pretty good, that's a good lineage.
Yeah.
That's good shit right there. So 3 pretty damn cool. Those are 3 rebellious people.
Right.
It's our kind of town. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
And it's a college town.
Also, it's, from what I hear, the one bastion of non-hillbillery in the entire state. Anyone in Louisville's like, don't go outside the city limits, but in here it's pretty cool. You're going to like it. But if you see a leaf on a tree, fucking run. Come back toward the center of town because it gets bad out there. So we're excited about that. Thank you for everybody who's bought your tickets. We are pumped to see you there, definitely. If you want to be an even bigger help to the show, that's very, very easy to do. It's super simple, as a matter of fact. You can go to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can make a donation there, and every dime is greatly appreciated. Or you can go to PayPal if you want to make a one-time donation. Use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can do that. That's also a good way to get a hold of the show. If you want to get a hold of the show, you got a suggestion, maybe a deep cut. God, don't email the show and be like, do you know who Chris Benoit is? Yes, we're aware of, maybe Lawrence Taylor. Yes, we'll get to all that. If it's like a deep cut one that you found like, oh, this is an athlete I've never heard of, and he's done a bunch of crazy shit, send us that. That's fun stuff. But without further ado, we need to get into this because it's a good Lord, it's just a parade of arrests today.
Oh boy.
It's one of those. It's going to be fun. It's a guy that I had, up until I started researching this week, had no clue about him at all. I knew who he was because he played football for 10 years in the NFL, so I knew who he was, but I had no idea about any of the stuff that went with him. He just seemed like a quiet guy who played tight end. It's one of those guys. So on yesterday, Jimmie had to stop by for a moment there, and I didn't tell him who we were doing because we keep it for his reactions genuine. But I said we're doing a Bronco tomorrow. It's a lifelong Bronco, and he was like, the look on his face was like, oh no, which one of my heroes will you destroy now? Thanks.
And he just said tight end.
Yeah,
I know a tight end.
Which one? From
Shannon Sharp?
No, before him.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, before Shannon Sharp.
He's a white guy.
No, he's not. No, definitely black guy. No, he's a black
green?
guy.
Not color, but, person.
Yes, he's a green man. One green man and one purple man.
Who the hell was
an orange
before
guy
Shannon
too.
Sharp?
For 10 years, all the Super Bowl teams of the 80s.
Oh, no.
Clarence Kay.
No.
You don't remember Clarence Kay? He was their tight end forever. He was like the fourth amigo.
Did he catch like 4 passes?
No, he caught a lot of passes.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
He was their standard tight end for 10 years. Like literally their number one tight end for 10 years.
Sure?
I am positive. I remember him very well as a kid watching the games.
Yeah.
I never thought he was a criminal, but here he is. So guess what? He's a criminal. Clarence Hubert Kay is his name. K-A-Y is how you spell his last name. Just, some people put an E on it. You never know. Born July 30th, 1961. So like I said, he played in the 80s.
Right.
And he played in the cocaine era, and that affected him a lot. We'll talk about. He's from Seneca, South Carolina. That's where he's born and raised, in South Carolina. And he's an athlete. I mean, just from the start. Honestly can't find a lot about his like home life growing up. It's weird. He was always a star, but not like a star. It's hard to explain.
Clearly.
He wasn't the quarterback.
I loved the team.
A bunch of features on.
Fucking idea who he is.
And he was there every year. Every year, and we'll go over his stats. He always caught passes. He caught big passes.
Really?
Yeah. He was one of John Elway's. He was one of John Elway's. We need to get that first down, scramble around, and find Clarence Kay underneath for 11 yards. He was one of those guys.
Lord.
That kind of tight end.
How much of my childhood
blocker
did I block out due to trauma?
He was a really good blocker too. Which in John Elway running around, it would help to have a good tight end blocker because they were trying not to get him killed. Yeah, basically as a young man,
he was running a lot.
Yeah, and they draft him the year after they get Elway, so they're trying to get him he's a weapon and he can block.
Wall him up.
It's perfect. But he's a real athlete. He's about 6'3", about 240 pounds is his playing weight.
Big guy.
And he's sculpted. I mean, if you drew a picture of an athlete, that's what you draw a picture of and go, as an athlete, look at that.
I believe it.
Yeah, he looks like an Olympian or some sort of Greek, And
6'3"?
He's 6'3".
Okay.
There's certain places says he's 6'6", but most of the places I trust more say 6'3". Okay. So I'm going to go with 6'3", including a police report. So... or 2 or 12 or 14 or I think 18 in this particular case.
Those are the ones I rely on most.
Yeah, they're pretty good. He's got about 18 of those lined up for us to go over. So there's quite a few here. He goes to Seneca High School in Seneca, South Carolina, and he is just a huge athlete. He letters in 3 varsity sports.
Really?
Imagine being that good of an athlete.
No.
I'm just good at everything.
I can't imagine.
They put me in a uniform. I go out there and I'm just real good at it.
And I do better than everyone else.
Everyone. Isn't it weird? I'm just gifted. He earned 4 letters in football, so all 4 years. I mean, as a freshman, he earned a varsity letter. Wow. Which is impressive. 4 letters in basketball, which means as a freshman.
Every year.
He's lettering, and 4 letters in track.
And track.
All three sports, all 4 years. He was...
Incredible.
Good at it. That's amazing.
He was in a sport through every fucking season.
Always in a sport.
As soon as something ends, he goes to the next one.
Absolutely. That's what they would keep kids in track that are on. A lot of kids play football and shit would stay in shape by running track in the off season. It keeps them kind of in a regimen.
That
practice after school. That was the thing. Yeah, you'd see some of the basketball players played soccer. I remember and shit like that. There was different ones you'd see, and the girls just played field hockey.
Ours were volleyball.
volleyball.
Yeah.
We had a good field hockey. They were like
Really?
state champions every year in field hockey. I don't
even know if my team had one of those, or my school.
Just chicks in skirts with those little sticks.
So rad.
Like half a hockey stick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, as a teenage boy, it was a good team to have. I was like, this is great. I like game day. It's just a bunch of girls with their sticks walking around ready to whack another girl in the teeth while she's got a little plaid skirt on.
There's nothing wrong with a tough chick.
Not to be whatever, but I mean, when you're 16, that's pretty cool. You know, you're like, hey.
Tough chicks that dress hot are amazing.
Yeah, this is great stuff. So anyway, he could have kicked ass in field hockey. This guy, I'm sure he would have been great. As a member of the track team, he was a 3-time all-region selection, and he was named to the all-state team in his senior year. So he's a real athlete here. He's a champion high jumper. He was the 1978 region champion. That's his sophomore year, by the way. A region champion in the high jump, and the 78 and 79 upper state champion in the high jump, and the 1978 state champion in the high jump.
The guy is amazing.
So yeah, this is a guy you want as a tight end. This is like an Antonio Gates prototype.
It's also a guy that fucking enjoyed high school.
Oh God, he had so much fun.
Greatest time of his life.
When he showed up to a party, everyone go, "Hey, it's Clarence!
Holy shit,
it's Clarence! Oh, get the other keg, the good one. Clarence is here." Like, no, the good weed. Just put that shit weed away. Give Clarence the good weed. Clarence is here. This is special.
Don't worry, Clarence will carry the keg for us.
Now it's a party. Right. Clarence is here.
That's one way to keep from getting made fun of.
Oh,
as being Clarence Hubert.
You're
just
Clarence.
Be the best at everything.
Yeah, well, I'm just the best at everything. If you don't like it, I'll jump over you. So there's that.
And then probably kiss your girlfriend.
And then because she'll probably
because she's asking for it. She wants me to.
Not in that way.
She literally said, "Clarence, kiss me in front of my boyfriend."
Clarence, make out with me. Yeah, she's literally asking me to do it.
Him,
yeah,
kiss me.
Yeah, you're amazing at everything. You're probably good at kissing too.
She's asking for.
She's asking. Hey, what do you want? She's asking for it. Fuck out of here. So he's. She's asking for
that
it.
was awesome.
This broad's asking for it. What are you coming to me for? So, yeah, he's a badass, basically. Yeah. If you're a state champion at anything in high school, that's pretty impressive. So, as a tight end, though, if you think about all these skills, he's fast. Yeah. He can out-jump everybody, which is good for, any kind of receiver to go up and get a ball. He's kind of like an Antonio Gates prototype, a basketball-playing, athletic, but he's known as like the meanest cat on the field at tight end.
Oh my God,
he's a nasty blocker. Yeah. Like as much as he's got good hands, his blocking is what he's there for. He will knock the shit out of people who are, usually tight ends are just a secondary. They'll come over and help a left tackle out on somebody, or they'll pick up a linebacker or something like that. But
he's excited about it.
He likes to block. Yeah, he's not. This isn't like he's not like Gronkowski, one of those guys who would just be like, well, I know I got to touch this guy for a second, and then I get to release and go catch a pass, and have some fun.
Right.
Like, this guy didn't care. He'd like to knock your teeth out and then go catch a pass.
God, I miss football like that.
That's pretty good stuff. As a member of the basketball team, he was named to the All-County team twice.
All-County.
All-County, so he's good at that too. And his 4 years as a varsity football player, he was named to the All-County team, the All-State team, and the All-American team as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's celebrated. I mean,
good Lord!
Imagine that high school. Everyone would know who he is.
Yeah,
he would be. He's the best athlete at the school.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows who he is when he walks around. It's like, oh shit, that's Clarence. He's tall. He's athletic. I mean, he's got a good life so far. This isn't too fucking bad.
The guy's in a locker room every day. That's
my God! Yeah, and people are probably jealous of his penis as well. Everything is athletic, and they're like, his
penis is as recognizable as his name.
Clarence, he tied it in a knot today just for fun.
Again.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, come on, man. Just to make me feel bad. That's not right. So now there's something called the Shrine Bowl. The Shrine Bowl is I think it's North Carolina high school football team versus the South Carolina high school football team. I don't know if it's like state all-stars, I want to say, is what I've gathered from it, but it seems to be a big deal. Okay. And they raise money for the Shriners hospitals.
Okay.
They do a lot of good work with the hospitals. Yeah, for kids and shit like that.
For the kids.
Yeah, it's for the children. Oh, what do you want for? She was asking for it. Fuck you asking me for? I don't know. No, literally. She said, will you please kiss me? I said, all right, sweetheart, not bad. All right.
I'm not an asshole.
Hey, I'm not an asshole. I'm a gentleman.
An asshole?
I'm a gentleman. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of a line in me. And I'll just be like, come here, sweetheart. And I'll bend her back and I'll give her a good kiss if she wants one, Only if she wants it, though. I don't want to be accused of none.
Back, not forward.
Back, not forward. Well, maybe later we'll talk about that. But
if she likes back, we'll go forward.
She got to really ask for that. Right. Let's just say that. That's got to be
writing and all that shit.
Very specific. I need an affidavit telling me that this is all right. We got to get it notarized. It's all process. So maybe not tonight, maybe tomorrow. So the 1978 game raised $1.4 million for the Shriners Hospital.
Wow.
Which is not bad. However, okay, and it's so weird to think about. Like, I know there's racism in the world, obviously. There's a ton of it and shit like that. But overt, we just people standing around going, I don't want black people playing in that game. You don't hear that often now. Now they'll go do a back channel thing to say, let's make the line here instead of there so that black people can't play. Right. It's more under the radar.
Yeah.
Then this is ridiculous. And in the South too, South Carolina, North Carolina, on December 5th, 1979, the Durham Sun wrote that they cited anonymous sources from the game, from inside the game, the people that ran it, saying that there was a lot of pressure on them. 1979, mind you, not 1929 or fucking 1839. Right. There's pressure to keep black players out of the game. It's high school football. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who's fucking playing high school football? Whoever's good, go out there and play high school football. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, the problem is these white families want their kids to excel too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Be better than the kid who can jump over your head then. If not, then you can watch the game. I'm sorry. That's how it works. Athletics should be a meritocracy here. I mean, fuck, man. Athletics and comedy should be a meritocracy. Should be the only two meritocracies there are. Everything else, I get it. There's factors. Those two, fucking
I want to play too, James.
Yeah, you can't, Jimmy. I'm sorry. You're not playing in the Shrine game. You just can't. That'll raise no money.
Is it because I'm too white?
And small.
Not good.
Yes, it's the whiteness is making you not as athletic as you need to be. That's the problem. So I guess in a roundabout way, yes, it's because you're too white. I'm sorry. You can't play.
Because I'm not black enough.
But there's the North Carolina team, 15 of the 35 players were black. It's not even...
It's not even half.
It's not even half.
What are you talking about?
Seems like
still a vast majority are white kids.
Seems like they're still keeping a white kid quote anyway. And in the state of North Carolina, I mean, come on. And then South Carolina has 12 of 35 kids are black.
What are we even bitching about?
That's what I mean. Even if you're racist, you should be like, got them. More than half of them are white kids now.
You're talking about 27 out of 70.
They know that more than half the good players are probably not white kids. So you're already keeping the black man down. It's not enough for you. It's not. He needs to go down further. He's asking for it, I tell you. Jesus Christ.
It's barely over a third. That's incredible.
That's crazy. So there was a big kerfluffle around that. They asked Clarence Kay about it in the paper, and this is Clarence Kay in high school. He says, quote, football gives black kids a chance to do something else besides work in a mill. This is the era and the locale that we're talking about here. It's either this or the mill is what he's thinking the choices are to grow up. So that's a shit way to think.
That's terrible.
That sucks.
That's your options, either maybe millions and millions of dollars or
the
broke
mill.
as fuck forever.
The mill. Right. There's no other. Yeah, but I mean that's a tough
oh my God.
way to think about it. And slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot, Jimmy. That's what he's saying right there.
It sounds like it.
In so many words about 15 years earlier. So and then in that Shrine game that he played in, he threw a 35-yard touchdown pass. So
as the tight end.
As the quarterback. Okay. He was playing quarterback too. He's just throw him in there. Well, whoever gets the ball most, that's who he is. Yeah. And then he'll just do shit that's good for the team. That's how good he is.
He has everything in the world going for him.
It's great for him.
I can't imagine.
He's like, this never happened to me. What's the difference between Clarence Kay at 18 and Jimmie Whisman at 18?
Oh, it's vast.
And I was going to say, or James Pietragallo at 18, for that matter, is the same exact. We're in the same place. So.
It's fascinating because all the adults were telling him, boy, you can't play in this game. And all the parents when I was adult were like, just try and maybe you can play anything.
Maybe.
Give it a shot.
Something.
Work harder.
Better to play.
Is this all you've got?
Maybe not anything, but something.
Right.
So
just try.
Just keep
I don't
working
know,
on it.
Do it.
Work on it. What did Nike say? Nike said to just do it. So is that swaying you at all?
How about let's give it a shot and then maybe we'll up the effort.
People were jumping through the air as they said it, as they showed the
they're trying to slow this guy down from being as great as he is.
Yes. That's so, I just can't believe in 79 they would be like, wait, too many damn black kids.
That's insanity.
What?
What are we doing?
What are you talking about? Well, there was a thing. I mean, that's how down south, though, it was so. A lot of the population was very racist back then, and I remember in wrestling they talk about how down south Bill Watts had his territory, and the co-owner of the territory was complaining that there's too many damn black people in the crowd, except not saying black people in the crowd, and I don't like that, too many damn black people, and blah 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 blah. And, Bill Watts' response was, I thought the only color we cared about here was green.
Right.
That's what matters.
That's the idea.
Did they pay a ticket like everybody? I don't give a shit.
They bought tickets.
If it's all black in here, they all paid for it. I don't give a fuck who shows up as long as it's full. And they all bought tickets. Right. What are you talking about? And that's kind of what's going on here, where it's like, well, we don't want to make those few assholes uncomfortable. It's like, why? Who cares? We don't need them. There's plenty of other people. Fuck those people.
Make them super uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever.
Yeah.
Until they go away.
Well, eventually they'll die off. They have to.
That's
so it's
circle of life.
Is it?
I think so.
I think that's what the song was
about. It ends there.
That Elton John.
It ends there, and then it starts again.
That Elton John. He was ahead of his time.
He was
thinking. So 1980 he graduates from Seneca. And he's got his choice of a lot of schools, obviously. He's well sought after.
Of course.
Clearly. He's a great athlete. He decides to go to Georgia, which is a powerhouse school, Georgia Bulldogs. Right. Big time school, especially down south. It's it's a big deal. So he goes to Georgia, 1980, and the quarterback on this team, first of all, Herschel Walker's on this team.
No kidding.
Yeah, if you don't know who Herschel Walker is out there, he's one of the greatest athletes who ever lived. Incredible. Yeah, picture like not flashy Bo Jackson kind of thing, and not as good either, but I mean that type of athlete. Just
fundamentally sound.
An all-around great athlete that just seemed to be a natural at everything that he did.
How did he do that?
He was even a good dancer. I remember seeing him. Yeah, he did ballet, Herschel Walker.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he did that to keep his footwork up, to go through holes.
I heard
a
lot of football players do that. I don't think that's true. I think there's only a few.
Yeah, there's only a few.
It's the good ones.
It's the ones. Yeah, Herschel was pretty good. So Herschel was on this team, and at this time, Herschel was like the best player in the country.
Yeah,
he was Heisman's, and Herschel was the shit.
Yeah,
he would go on play in the USFL and make the league pretty much by playing there. Their quarterback on this team. I'm sure he's a wonderful player, and based on their season, he is a great player. But his name is Buck Bellew. Buck Bellew.
Wonder what he does today.
You have to play down south to be Buck Bellew and play. So
his dad's a police sergeant.
Oh yeah, Sergeant Big Buck.
Yeah,
Big Buck Bellew, and
very regimented at home.
Buck Jr. here, probably.
He heard, if I hear another peep out of you, so many times.
That's it though. No threat.
No.
You knew.
Just that. Yeah,
it was implied.
You knew what that meant.
You knew you were going to get beaten with the nightstick.
Yeah, and you wouldn't dare even just go peep.
No,
never.
I'll treat you like a black kid trying to play football. So help me God, God damn it.
I'm going to keep you at that Shriner game.
Beat you away from the Shrine Bowl. So 1980, the old Buck Bellew is nasty apparently because him and Herschel Walker. This is one. I looked at Buck Bellew's stats and they were good but unimpressive. And I was like, yes, because they gave the ball to Herschel Walker 4 out of 5 times. You had Herschel Walker go just run over everyone. Okay, great. Oh look, he's even faster. Awesome. He's running away now. He's just awesome. The Georgia team finishes. They go all the way to the Sugar Bowl and they beat Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl 17-10, and they finished the season 12-0.
How about that?
So they have an undefeated season in his freshman year, and they finish first in the polls, and they win the national championship.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a national champion. This guy is just, so far, he's dipped in gold and just put out there, and every once in a while, someone just hands him a pile of money. It's just ridiculous how lucky and great everything is for him.
The man wins every day.
Yeah, he doesn't even realize.
He just wins.
He just wakes up and he's like, oh boy, I'm the best waker.
I won?
I'm the best waker-upper. They just gave me an award for it. Isn't it amazing? I beat that guy. I didn't even know we were playing. They said I'm twice as good as him. Isn't that weird?
They said I won the lottery today. I just have to go pick up my ticket.
That's strange. I don't remember playing, but I mean, I'll take it. Sure.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, man? So they do great. They're national champions. Shit, good for him, right? I mean, what the fuck? Not bad. 19. That season for him, he plays in all 11 games. Only has 4 receptions for 52 yards. But
who gives a shit?
That's what I mean. They won the national, and that's like I said, Herschel Walker's running it.
He's blocking for Herschel Walker.
Yes, if you think about it, Herschel Walker's going to run most of the time, and then when they're throwing, the receivers are going to get the ball a little bit, and they're also going to pass to Herschel out of the backfield. And how often is a tight end going to get the ball? 4 times for 52
I didn't even
yards.
Think about Herschel getting screen passes.
Oh yeah, that happens too. Yeah, he's coming out of the backfield.
This is Robin Kay.
Herschel had great hands. Yeah. They used to line him up as a wide receiver sometimes in the NFL and in the USFL.
Robin Kay had extra opportunities to catch a pass.
Absolutely. I got this, Clarence. That's cool. I got this.
Hey, just go put your hands in a chest somewhere.
And go wrap up this Heisman real fast. You just go block for that guy. Make sure
Enjoy the ring.
Make sure no one hurts Buck Baloo back there. I got this. Jesus Christ.
After he declares for the draft, nobody's ever going to know his name again.
No, old Bucky. But he averages 13 yards per catch, so the catches mean something. It averages a first down every catch here. 81, he plays in 11 games. He has 18 receptions, so as a freshman, too, he wasn't playing that much, so he's more in the offense. 253 yards, a touchdown, and he averages 14.1 per catch.
Now you're talking.
This is good, and a college offenses back then, except for the few that had great quarterbacks, didn't really throw the ball around. There was a lot of running and options and that sort of shit.
And even when they did, there was a lot of misses.
A lot of misses. Yeah, no, you look at their stats. These Buck Baloo's completion percentage, I think, was like 53% this year. And they won the national championship. He would be benched by the second week in the NFL. Nowadays, to have a 53. In the 70s, though, in the NFL, 53 was good. Yeah. You know, look at Joe Namath's lifetime. I think it's like 52%. Right. He's in the fucking Hall of Fame. So
you go 24 for 47, you're fucking cut tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Hope you rented your house here.
Yeah, sorry, because you're out. Enjoy Cincinnati. So, yeah, it's weird, though. The differences, they made a rule like 77 or 78, they updated the pass interference rule in the NFL, and then you saw everybody's completion percentages jump up a shitload because you couldn't molest the receivers the same way that you used to. So all of a sudden now fucking balls are being caught. Weird, right?
Yeah.
So 81, the team goes 10-2. They go all the way to the Sugar Bowl and lose to Pitt in the Sugar Bowl here. 81, that is Dan Marino in the Pitt? Sugar Bowl, I believe. Yeah, because 83 he came out, so 81, 82. Yeah, so that is losing to Dan Marino at Pitt. So
not a bad way to lose.
You lost to Dan Marino. I mean, what the fuck? You lost to one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived.
Right.
So what are you going to do? So 10-2.
Have you seen Ace Ventura?
Yeah,
he's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? He's pretty good. Have you seen an Isotoner commercial? It's pretty impressive. So he's number 5. The team ends up number 5 overall, which is nothing to sneeze at. I mean,
that's fine.
Top 5
in
overall,
the country
out of everybody.
It's incredible.
Not too bad.
There's a lot of teams.
There's a shit 128 or some shit.
Is that all?
111 in Division 1.
Okay, I would still be
all the way to 3. There's like 500 teams. Everyone's got one.
I would still be shocked if
we have a team, Jimmie.
Right.
They play in the backyard. They're practicing right now. It's weird. Everyone has a team.
It's 2 dogs and your son.
That's it. Yeah, I don't like their chances this year, but I think next year they're going to be good. Joey's growing, so I think it's going to be okay. So, 81, though, 10-2, number 5 overall. 82, 11 games he plays in again, all 11. 12 receptions, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14.6 per catch. So he's got a roll here. The team in 82 goes 11-1. They go all the way to the Sugar Bowl. They were undefeated entering the Sugar Bowl. They were 11-0, and they play Penn State in the Sugar Bowl, and they're, Molesty covering whole coaching staff there. Sandusky held them to 23 points, and I'm sure molested some of their little brothers in the process as well. Really gave them the 1-2 punch, and
God, the 1-2 sucked.
Gave them the old 1-2. It's a bad one too. And they lose 27-23 to Penn State. So they could have been national champions. They enter the Sugar Bowl against Penn State 11-1. They lose
3 years in a row. They've been in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah,
nobody else can say that.
That's what I mean. Not too, number 4 overall. They finished too. So that's not bad. And if they won that game, 4 more points, and they'd have been, or 5 more, they would have been national champions. 1983, he plays in 11 games, 17 receptions, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, 14.5 per catch. So they have a certain thing that they do with him. 83, the team goes 10-1-1. So that's a weird.
It's a stinker of a season.
Yeah, they go to the Cotton Bowl and play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, and they win 10-9.
Yeah,
which sounds
a boring ass game.
On turf in the mid '80s.
God,
1983.
Yeesh.
That sounds not fun to watch at all.
I don't know if which one's worse, that or like 51-31 in a playoff game. Which one's worse?
That's exciting when it starts off 24-0, and then somebody comes back and
then it's just nothing.
If it was just 51-31 all the way along, that would be dull. But 24-0, and then the stunning comeback. But that's a good story.
The 24 points was like in 3 minutes. Then the stunning comeback was like in 3 minutes.
What I mean.
And then it was
that's shocking.
Then it was just point after point after point of awfulness.
Then it's garbage.
I hated it.
That's some good drama. It was just in the front. If that drama happened in the back half of the game, everyone would say it was the greatest playoff game that ever happened. It just happened in the first half of the game.
Yeah, you got a point.
It's the same amount of drama,
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it. I was like, how much drama is in this?
10-9, I'd want to shoot myself in the mouth.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Imagine being in the stands for that.
No.
Just it's just a windy day. The Cotton Bowl, they played in the Dome, I think.
I think it's worse if it's 3, if it's a touchdown and then a safety rather than what was probably 3 field goals. Right.
That's so boring.
I'd rather at least see the fucking safety.
And in college, if they made 3 field goals, they missed 4 of them probably. So that's how it works in college, especially back then. Kickers weren't a real specialty that great. So it's probably what it was all about. So I don't know. Georgia finishes number 5 overall, though. Yeah. So now at Georgia, everything seems to be going great. Team's good. There's no bad publicity, nothing happening. But later on, we will find out that Clarence got through college while using drugs very regularly.
Really?
He'll even say that Georgia coaches knew about his habit.
Oh, no.
And didn't give a shit because they were winning football games. And what are you going to do? Start telling kids not to do things?
Yeah, but that's some healthy allegations.
They're real good.
Yeah.
It comes later on, but still, he says, quote, "I did mess around with drugs for a short period at Georgia, some marijuana and things of that nature." He says, "I think they knew," the coaches, he means, "I was doing my own thing and dancing to Clarence Kay's beat."
Yeah.
He's dancing not to his own beat, to Clarence Kay's beat.
Right.
Yeah. So right away in his
the third person,
in his first quote, we were first adult quote.
Yeah.
We kind of know who this motherfucker is right away. They knew I was doing my own thing and dancing to Clarence Kay's beat. Clarence Kay once told me.
Right. I do like that he said marijuana and things of that nature.
Things of that nature.
Expound, please, sir.
Yeah. Later on, he'll get a little more into it, but he'll be more honest as time goes on. He also says it included, quote, "a lot of beer," which you would expect that for a college football player.
Beer and weed? That ain't shit.
That's fine. Yeah. Who gives a shit? The NFL draft comes along in 84, and he's not a hot commodity. He's kind of a tight end on a good team that's not a real pass-happy team, so nobody really knows much about him.
Sure.
But they've seen him, and they see he's a good blocker. For number 1 overall pick, that 84 draft is weak.
Yeah.
83 draft is notoriously probably the best draft of all time. Elway, Marino. It's fucking endless. Yeah. So many people came out of the 83 draft. It's insane. Yeah. This draft is not quite that.
No.
The number 1 overall pick this year is not John Elway.
No.
It's Irving Fryer.
Really?
He's a good receiver.
Yeah.
He'll have his own episode, by the way.
Really?
He's had problems.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Drugs during his career, financial shit after his career. Fun stuff.
Dolphin?
For a while, yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Nailed it.
Patriots, though, for the most part.
Okay.
That was his.
I don't think I knew that.
He was in the Super Bowl against the Bears on the Patriots. I did know that.
I see him there right now.
Yeah, I remember Nebraska he went to.
Yeah.
But he's the number 1 overall pick, so that tells you Fryer's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Very solid player, but not a number 1 overall pick in terms of just you wouldn't look at him and go, "Oh, God, the talent is just pouring out of him here."
He's not a Hall of Famer, is he?
Irving, probably not.
I don't think he is.
No, probably not. Carl Banks in the first round, which is the Giants' the other. See that? Carl Banks is a great player, but he's the other outside linebacker with LT.
Oh, no.
Number 58. So
ouch.
He was in the Pro Bowl every year and shit, but he's not LT.
Nobody's looking for that jersey, bud.
The best defensive player of all time next to you. It's kind of on the left side, and you're on you're going, pay attention to me. I stopped the run well. Yeah. Everyone's like, he just murdered a quarterback. He snapped a quarterback's leg in half on fucking live television. You tackled a running back for a 1 yard gain. Who could 58?
Oh,
56, 58.
Yeah,
just
that's
a little
so
extra.
Brutal.
It's
like
tough.
if you see that jersey on the and you're like, oh my god, it's an LT jersey.
Yeah,
fuck it.
It's God
damn it.
He didn't have. I loved Carl Banks, but he didn't have his own identity. Like Harry Carson was the middle linebacker, so he was like the captain. Everybody looked at him.
He was so big.
He was a good. Well, he had a really strong personality too, like Mike Singletary. Those all those middle linebackers do. They're the captain of the defense. They're calling out plays. He's got his own thing. He doesn't have to have a bunch of sacks or anything like that. But Carl Banks was just the other guy going, I'm good too. Right? Aren't I good?
There's an extra piece on my jersey.
Shit. If I didn't have that 3 inches of nylon
white material right there, I'd be a hero.
I'd be a star. They would fucking love me, God damn it. So,
God damn it.
That's fucking amazing.
Poor bastard.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you. The people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, this draft is just weak. I know Boomer Esiason goes in the beginning of the second round. That's the kind of draft we're talking about.
He went
here.
in the second?
Top of the second round. There was some rumors about him. I want to say it was it drug use?
Really?
No, not drug use, because that's what they did. That's why Dan Marino dropped, because teams started rumors that Dan Marino
that's fucked
used
up
drugs, so he dropped in the draft.
Oh no,
like a fucking stone. It's funny too, like the Steelers had him like fully investigated because he's from Pittsburgh and played at Pitt.
Yeah.
So they had him like fully had like retired Pittsburgh police detectives follow him around and work up a full report on Dan Marino.
Unreal.
To find out. And they found out that he wasn't doing coke. They said he likes the ladies and he likes to have a few beers with the guys. That's what he likes.
Guy?
Like a guy in college who's a quarterback and fucking handsome and beloved by everyone. Like that kind of guy.
Right.
Likes to party a bit. Yeah.
It's hilarious how fast he lost his Guinea accent too.
Oh yeah. See, there's an interview of Boomer.
So good.
There's him talking about it. Right before the draft, he's got a fucking mustache. Number one, that's darker than his hair, which is hilarious. Slightly darker than his hair, and he's got like this great, like weird East Coast kind of Maryland, Baltimore accent because he played at Maryland.
Yeah.
He's got this weird, like I don't know. I mean, it's like. You're the blondest man ever. Like Phil Simms talks like you'd expect Phil Simms to talk. Boomer's like, let me tell you something. These fucking guys.
I'm talking about Dan Marino.
Oh, Marino too. Marino had a Pittsburgh accent.
Yeah.
Everything was clipped, and he's like, I don't know, guy.
But
it's nasally. It's like,
it's a Pittsburgh Italian.
He's fucking his dad's.
That's what I mean.
His dad's a truck driver.
Sure doesn't sound like it today.
No. He's had lessons today. I'm surprised he didn't fucking lose the vowel on his name. Hi, I'm Dan Marin. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Dan Marin.
Dan Marin.
I'm going
Good to see
with
you.
a long A right now.
That's right.
Make this sound
much
extra
easier.
Anglo.
Definitely not a guinea. My dad's not a fat truck driver with a beer belly. No, I swear
I
to
am
God.
Daniel Marin.
We never had pasta on Sunday. I don't know what it's like for the house to be smelled with just stinking like pasta, like good sauce in the morning. I don't know what that's like.
At 11, I was never drinking wine.
Never. No, absolutely not. Never fucking happened. Not once.
Daniel Marin.
Daniel Marin. Yeah. Don't you know him? Daniel Marin. Buy these isotoners. I'm Daniel Marin. Poor bastard.
Somebody certainly got in his ear and was like, they're going to look down on you, Dan. You can't talk like this.
You can't talk like a fucking Western Pennsylvania Goomba. We can't have this shit. Do you understand?
He was interviewed when he was like 20. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Oh, God. In more like if you see him like an interview in a documentary, he talks more like himself.
Yeah,
he talks more like a guinea. But if he's on like presenting something on television, it's buy isotoner gloves. It's completely different, you know. But if he's talking about like playing football, he's like, I'm throwing it around these guys. You know, it's totally different.
It's so good.
It's so guinea. I grew up. I'm like, that's the only guy.
There's my hero.
We have one,
and he's gonna wear teal.
That's it. He's wearing teal. It's okay. It's fine. Imagine how great life was for him. Grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Pitt.
Yeah.
So he's never seen the sun ever.
Right.
And then you're going to Miami, kid. He's probably like, fuck yeah. Chicks and cocaine and fucking boo, the beach. This is going to be great.
Your mascot's the fucking weakest mascot. I don't care.
It's going to get me a part in a movie one day. Without that mascot, it wouldn't happen. So
that's a good point.
We're doing this shit. So, yeah, that draft.
If he plays for the Bears, Ace Ventura doesn't give a fuck.
Not happening. Not at all. That's what I mean. It isn't working. Right. They're going to have Todd Blackledge be which isn't going to work. He was the Chiefs' choice that year in the 83 draft. 23 overall, Lewis Lips of Pittsburgh, mediocre wide receiver. So I mean, there is not a lot of real big Hall of Fame names in this draft here. The Clarence here lasts all the way to round 7.
Oh my God!
Pick 186. Denver picks him. So he has no guarantee of making this team whatsoever. I mean, he has 2 bad days in training camp. His ass is cut, kind of a guy.
The first L he's taken in his life.
Yeah, and it's just he hasn't been seen, hasn't had that much opportunity to really show what he can do. Yeah. But he is drafted, so that's your foot is in the door.
Right.
If your foot's in the door, you can't really ask for much more than that. Especially if you're a guy who's gifted like this guy, you go, I'll make it if I can just get a chance. And he does. He makes the team, makes the Denver Broncos, which at the time, an up-and-coming team, they had newer ownership that was trying to take the team to the next level. They drafted at John Elway, or didn't draft him, but they traded for John Elway the year before. So, I mean, they were a team on the rise.
Sure.
Definitely. Dan Reeves was the coach. In 1984, the Broncos go 13-3.
Yeah.
So, huge deal for Elway. That was a big deal, and but they lose to the Steelers 24-17 in the playoffs. So that's not great, but that's all right. It's a second-year quarterback.
Oh, don't worry.
You take your L, you come back the next year.
Mr. Elway, there are going to be plenty more L's for you to take.
You're going to lose plenty of Super Bowls.
Oh, boy.
Don't worry about it. Now, Clarence plays in all 16 games, which is good. He starts 13 games for them. 16 receptions, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns.
As a rookie. That's great.
Not too fucking shabby. Not too bad, I would say. Now, 1985 Broncos go 11-5. 11-5 and don't make the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
That kind of sucks, right? Jesus Christ.
That's what Marty Schottenheimer was screaming about for so many years.
It's so tough,
to go 11-5 and not make the playoffs is the biggest kick in the dick.
Oh, it is, because you should.
To win 10 games is fucking impossible.
Yeah, 11
and
is.
to do it.
11, you can win a division.
Right.
Or not go at all.
Or stay home.
Or if you're in a bad division, you could be 8-8 and go to the playoffs,
Right.
which happens too.
All the time.
So the 85 Broncos, by the way, Mike Shanahan's the offensive coordinator on the 85 Broncos. Yeah. These 80s teams are littered with, the 2000s head coaches. Bill Belichick was, Bill Parcells' assistant for the Giants.
Yeah.
That's how they all...
This is unbelievable, though, for him that long ago.
That was 85. Yeah, this is
Jesus.
1985. So, good year, though, for Clarence. Like I said, he 16 games here, 16 games started.
Yeah.
So starts every game. He's 29 receptions, which for a tight end, that's terrific.
Right,
339 yards. Like I said, unless you're a huge star tight end, unless you're Tony Gonzalez or something, that's terrific.
Or Shannon Sharp.
3 touchdowns. Not bad. That's 21.2 yards per game, apparently. So not too shabby.
Okay.
He's doing well. Now, the next year will be the big Bronco year where they go to the Super Bowl. But he'll have some problems. So we're going to call it grace.
That's it.
This is grace for Clarence, I'm going to say right here.
Right.
This is...
And, he
personally, this is his personal grace.
Got it. He played in a time when the tight end was not a utilized position like it is today.
No,
not anywhere near it.
It wasn't a weaponized position.
No.
It was kind of it was a first down position.
Right.
It was either a blocker or it was a dump underneath
3-4
first down,
yards and run off 7 more.
10 over the middle,
Right.
take a big hit, be able to catch the ball, and
it was a tough guy position.
Yeah, it was. You're the last resort.
Yeah,
you're not
that's
the
what
first.
it is.
You're not the first option. On as a tight end back then. They're not looking for like Antonio Gates, or they're like, okay,
there are no plays drawn for him.
But nowadays you'll have a fast tight end, and they literally will try to scheme so you're matched up with a linebacker, and they'll send you down the field straight, and
make
have
that
you
linebacker
just burn him with speed. Whereas back then they didn't do that. It was more underneath and shit like that. Good deal. Grace though for him. Now August of 1986, during the preseason, obviously he is arrested for speeding and reckless driving in Colorado.
He's late.
He's got, he's not a good driver. No. We're going to talk about, and
he was arrested for it.
Oh yeah, reckless driving and speeding. He was acting like an asshole.
Oh boy.
And the other thing is about him. He's we'll say he's not a good driver, but it doesn't matter because pretty much from now on he never has a license ever. So
this is when he loses it.
Whenever he gets pulled over for the next 30 years or so, it's going to be a problem, pretty much. Always going to be an issue.
He never fixes it.
Whenever he can't. He's always arrested. It's hard to. So he's arrested for that. Now, November of 1986, he is suspended 1 game from the team
for the reckless driving.
For the reckless driving. No, they don't care about that. It's the 80s in the NFL. Right. They're like, no, Clarence, you're fine. We bonded you out. You're good. Get to the practice facility. He was late to a couple of meetings.
There you go.
And that'll get you suspended. Not being arrested. You kidding me? Not putting people's lives in danger. That's fine. Don't be late to the meeting. Speed, goddammit. Drive recklessly if you have to.
Get your fucking ass here.
Fuck.
So, if you'd have sped, maybe you'd have made it to the other meetings.
You know what? You're asking for it.
Right.
That's it. So December 10th, 1986 here. He is in, this is amazing. Driving. Yeah. He is driving to practice, I assume trying not to be late.
Right.
And he is in a pretty decent traffic accident on the way to the practice facility, and he suffers minor hip and thigh injuries during this whole ordeal. Yeah, on the way to practice.
Right.
So he's a little banged up. Now, he also didn't stick around to talk to the cops for the accident because he's late for practice. He doesn't want to get suspended. So he's also going to be charged with failure to report an accident. And guess what else? Driving without a license because it's fucking suspended from before. So it starts, and this is it right here. You can picture a big boulder on a hill, and someone just finally it just went like, when it just started going down, and it's going to fly down the hill from now on. Just greased with cocaine and jizz and fucking traffic tickets as far as the eye can see.
And the license was left at the top of the hill.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, I guess I'll get arrested every time I drive. Fuck it. Why not?
No, officer, it's at the top of the hill.
Yeah. Now, with 2 games left in the regular season. Now, note the date here. That's that week, December 10th, 86. December 12th, 86. He is placed on the reserve non-football related illness list.
Yeah.
It's not for physical injuries, but it's funny because he'd be recovering from these physical injuries anyway for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So rather than just let him do that, they do this. This is for cocaine. So they're going to send him to rehab while he's injured. So that tells me that someone knew about this shit and was like, this is a good time for you to go to rehab, right?
Maybe we can fix this.
I'm sorry, but the timing is too perfect.
It's too perfect.
He didn't fail a test right after he hurt himself.
Right.
Like, that's just too...
2 days later?
The timing is too... And the test was from a while ago, so they were holding on to it. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it now. This will be the perfect timing. So Dan Reeves said, the head coach said, quote, of course I'm concerned about Clarence as a person, but I'm also concerned about his attitude and the effect it was having on our team. Football is like a war. When you're in a war, you want someone beside you who can do the job. I don't think Clarence was doing the job. I feel bad, like maybe I've not done everything I could have, but all I can do is deal with it now. I feel like it got to the point where it was hurting the football team. So, in other words, when he was playing well and everything was fine, it's fine.
Care.
No, I mean, my hair is silver. Right. Take a look at it. But, if he's injured anyway, I think at that point it hurts our football team. So
it's definitely a detriment.
If he's just on the sideline doing coke off of a cheerleader's ass, we can't have that.
No.
But if he's coked up and he's out there performing, that's what we need. That's fine. So
it's catching balls.
It's catching balls. So January 8th, 1987, he's back from drug rehab here. He does his 4 weeks and comes out and just in time for playoffs. Isn't that great? Just to play some playoff game. Well, how convenient. 2 meaningless games at the end of the season, on a really good team. It's okay. Rehab that. And then you get a bye week, too, because they're a good team. And then you're back for the playoffs.
Right.
Isn't that easy? Fucking wonderful. Because the team goes 11-5 that year, but they win the division. And the first round of the playoffs, they did have a bye week. They beat the Patriots 22-17. Mm-hmm. The Patriots had been coming off of getting the shit beaten at them by the Bears the year before. Yeah. And then they play the Cleveland Browns in the AFC Championship. That's the famous game with the drive, the John Elway drive, and the win at the end of the game. It's a great game.
And Stanley.
It's 23-20 there is that game. Was it Kevin Mack fumble, or was that the 87 game?
Oh, boy.
No, I think the Mack fumble set up the drive because he fumbled inside the 10-yard line, and then the Broncos had to go 93 yards back the other direction. Yeah. And then all the way to the Super Bowl where they lose to the Giants in that game, if you remember. That was a pretty crazy game here. In that game, there was Clarence Kay had a catch for a touchdown that they called out of bounds, or they called it not a catch, and then they reviewed it and they called it inconclusive, but everybody thinks to this day that it was a catch and he should have had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So what are you going to do? That year he starts 13 games, or he plays in 13 games because he was suspended for 3 of them.
What was the score on that Giants game?
39-20.
Yeah.
At the half, I think it was 2017 or 17-10 maybe. Broncos, I believe.
But then it didn't matter.
No, and you got them.
Let's just give him the touchdown.
The ball off Bavaro's hands and McConkey catches it. That was the Giants that was their year. That was just it was happening.
Let's give Kay that touchdown.
Let's give it to him
because it's 39-20.
So 39-27.
What does it matter?
It's fine. So he has 15 receptions that year for 195 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, January 24th, before the Super Bowl, right before it, the fluff pieces come out like crazy for Clarence. He went to rehab.
Yeah.
In the 80s, here's how it worked in the 80s. If you were an athlete and you did drugs, you were the devil.
Yeah.
But if you went to rehab, that made you automatically the greatest person in the world. Remember when that was it?
Yeah.
When if you went to rehab, as soon as you walked out, it wasn't like, well, we'll see how he's doing in a year or 6 months.
Yeah.
You walked out of the doors of rehab and everyone was like, what's it feel like to be cured? Your life is totally different now, right? And he's like, whoa, I haven't even got my car yet. If I pass the guy who has coke on the way home, we'll find out if I fucking stop. But back then it was like they thought of rehab as, oh, he did a magical thing.
Right.
Isn't it amazing?
It's all fixed.
It's all fixed now. And what you're so brave.
Right.
That's all. Well, you're so, not you were forced to do that by your employer.
Yeah. Your livelihood didn't literally relies on you going in there and pretending to do this.
It's fucking crazy. Jesus Christ. Well, he talks about playing in the playoff game 2 weeks before this and catching a big pass and saying how great it was coming back, and we'll talk about it here. Quote, well, you know what? Let's do it in their own words here. It's a short one, but it's pretty fucking hilarious and it needs it. So let's do in their own words. In their own words, quote, The game 2 weeks ago was probably the greatest day of my life. I came back to the team and I was sober. I was on a natural high.
Oh, boy.
And was is italicized,
Yeah.
so he was on a natural high.
Yeah.
Somebody brought it up, so.
I was crushing it.
He was crushing it there.
Natural high is
Natural
so much
high.
better than Coke.
Oh, it's so, yeah.
These endorphins.
I'm telling you, it's just, you just run, and then you feel, it's just like Coke.
If they were that good, people would sell endorphins on the street corner.
People would be like, hey, man, you give me $10, I'll let you run down the street. It'd be pretty cool.
I'm going to get you these
I'll time you.
endorphins.
I'll
Yeah.
time you, and then you'll just, dude, it'll be good shit. So, Denver, Dan Reeves said that he's going to be starting Clarence Kay in the Super Bowl because he deserves it. He says, quote, Dan Reeves does, we consider our players as family and we treat them that way. What I did for Clarence is what I would do for anyone on this team. Send him to rehab and then pretend he's fine.
Right.
Ignore his problem, send him to rehab when it's convenient for us, and then pretend it's all fine. I'd do that for anyone, Jimmy. That's the kind of guy I am. Just brush it under the rug.
I'll use anybody for my benefit. That's just the kind of guy
That's
I am.
it. I am silver as they come, sir. Jesus Christ.
I do it for anybody.
I do it
for anybody.
I do it for anybody on this team.
He means
says. To anybody. I would just help them destroy their lives.
Right. I would use them to no end.
To my own
Anybody
benefit.
on this team.
Really, anybody. As long as I keep my job is what I'm saying. I have mortgage payments, really. I just want a house. The wife wanted horses, so it's expensive. You know what I mean? She wanted a farm and a thing.
Anyway, I can use this job and all these players as my stepping stone. I will step on every one of their fucking faces
I will, 'cause there's
to
like-
get to my next head coaching job.
I have like a dozen South American guys I got to pay to take care of those horses. It's that expensive. So I'd do it to anyone.
Ah, Dan Reeves, you dick.
I'll give somebody Coke if it helps. I don't care. I know a guy. Dan Reeves, I know a guy. Hi, I'm Dan Reeves, and I know a guy. Although picture it with an old man Southern accent that sounds like he's got a lozenge in his mouth.
Very, very butterscotch in your cheek there,
oh,
Dan.
yeah. He's going to give you a Werther's. Now,
for a guy that I loved so much as a child, it is fun to kick him right in the face.
You never find it's never good to find out which I
didn't know. Yeah. But I had no clue. I thought that Southern accent was so endearing and I was like, how lucky those players get to hang out with him and listen to him teach
Isn't
them.
that great?
Oh, I want a dad like that.
He's like, you've been doing cocaine.
No, not yet. Here's some.
Nope, here's some. Here you go. Now, get on that.
Because
It's
I
good
know
for
a
you.
guy.
Now, he says something else here.
Yeah.
Clarence does, which is amazing. He's talking about Lawrence Taylor here as the Lawrence he references. It's so good. We need a second in their own words on this. We just have to have it because it's fucking ridiculous. In their own words, quote, I can feel things changing inside of me. I'm different. I'm not saying I'm going to do the things that Lawrence does, but I'm looking forward to seeing things change for the better.
Oh.
I'm different. I feel things changing inside of me, I thought is the greatest fucking line anybody's
When
ever
did he
delivered.
say that?
It's in the same article after rehab.
In 86.
Oh, yeah, he's been out of rehab for a week and a half, so he's going
to do the same things that Lawrence does.
No, be great at what he does, yeah. I think he means like on the field.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to be that good, obviously.
Got
like,
it.
because Lawrence went to rehab and he's crazy.
He's not saying Lawrence. He's not pulling out telling everybody blowing up his spot. He's not ruining. Does everybody know that about Lawrence Taylor at this time?
Coke? Oh, God, yeah.
In 86?
Oh, yeah.
Did they know?
Oh, yeah. I think he got suspended. He got suspended in 87, but he was out there.
Okay.
Failed drug test.
Yeah.
Dan Reeves called him, quote, the best blocking tight end alive.
Wow.
Clarence Kay. So that's a pretty big deal there.
He's cocaine fueled, Dan.
Yeah. Kay also says that he had spoken to Lawrence Taylor and discussed his problem during the game. They talked about having coke problems together. What's happening, man? I could really use a line. Me too. The fuck kind of conversation
I'm
is that?
shaking. You know what I mean? I do.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I know what you mean.
Oh, you'd have no clue. Clarence says, quote, it's like a pregnant woman has a question. She goes to another pregnant woman for advice. An addict goes to another addict for advice.
I guess.
I guess that's the premise of having sponsors and all that shit, is another guy that gets what you're going through.
Because I sure as shit don't get it.
But I feel like these two are just going to do coke together.
Right.
Neither of them it's not like Taylor's been sober for 15 years and he's going to help guide him through this.
Right.
They're both like, we're not doing coke, right? Unless you got any.
Right.
You got any?
They're both
you
one
holding?
suggestion away from doing it.
You holding? Neither of them are doing it. If one goes, after this little bit, I got it. But yeah, I'll help you get rid of that. That's fine. Let's take care of that. Let's get rid of that. That way we can't do it anymore. I'll never buy it again.
You didn't do coke yet, did you?
No.
Not yet.
No, Taylor, I forgot. Taylor was in rehab before the 86 season.
Okay.
And then he was suspended during the 87 season, if I'm not mistaken here. Now, Clarence says, quote, it's a very long road. There are a lot more hurdles to cross. He says that...
Especially if we play the Giants again.
It's going to be really hard to not do coke with Lawrence. He's super fun. He's a fun guy. He's a lot of fun. He's got the best drugs too. He makes a lot of money.
Yeah,
and he's in New York. People give him, like movie stars give him good drugs.
They give him better drugs than I buy.
That I
do you
can
understand?
buy. It's not available to get in Colorado. The cocaine that's that good. He's in New York.
It's lighter than our mountain snow.
Dan Rather gave him his cocaine. That's how it's like. It's weird. It's that kind of cocaine. It's like older white journalist cocaine. It's Anchorman cocaine.
He's got Walter Cronkite cocaine.
That's good. It's good coke. It's really good. It's Edward R. Murrow coke. It's amazing. You're gonna realize.
That's the greatest thought ever. That's so funny.
Here you go, Lawrence. I've procured you some cocaine. Thank you, Dad.
You don't even
Appreciate it.
You don't even have to do it with me. You can take it on your own.
No need to hang out if you don't want to, or if you have somewhere to be. I understand.
And that's how the cocaine is snorted.
And that's how the cocaine is snorted. And that's how the powder crumbles.
That's how the rock is chopped.
That is how the crack rock crumbles, folks. I'm Dan Rather. With cocaine for Lawrence Taylor. Signing off.
That's how the line is drawn.
That's how good the cocaine is what I'm getting at. It's so good, the kind he's getting. Where
he's buying brown coke.
Oh, yeah. No, this one, on the other hand, Clarence Kay's having a hard time. He says that coke made him do some strange things and some bad things during his addiction. He can't change what he's done, but he said, quote, what may be obvious as abnormal behavior to someone else is difficult to see when you're a chemically dependent person. Fair enough. He says an addict sees things that should never be seen. Internal things. He says, quote, I wouldn't wish I wouldn't wish anyone that kind of luck. It's a different world altogether. Okay. And he said he uses his friends to help him stay off drugs, and his family, his loved ones. He gathers them around him. He says about Dan Reeves, Clarence does, quote, we have more than a player-coach relationship. He facilitates my cocaine use. Apparently Dan is now just supplying him with the coke. We have way more than that.
That's a great comment.
He gets old white Southern man cocaine. It's amazing.
Right.
So more than a player-coach relationship. We have a relationship beyond football. We have a man-to-man relationship.
Because Dan knows a guy.
He knows a guy. Let's put it that way. You can call Dan at 1 a.m. He's that kind of guy. Like, I don't want to, but I'll make a call.
Good morning, Coach. Morning. It is fucking dark outside.
Jesus Christ,
not
Clarence.
I'm out of coke.
My God. Already? It's been 2 hours, Clarence.
It's fine, Clarence. I know a guy.
I'll call you back. Hold on. Clarence said, quote, John Elway pulled me aside on my first day back and told me he was proud of what I was doing. He said, I've gotten help. When the story went national, I figured my career was over. A big dark cloud hung over me. He says, I can't worry about what other people feel about me. I've got to worry about Clarence Kay now. That's what counts.
Yeah.
That is number 2, third person so far, and it gets worse. He says he's very excited to be back. He says, I think I would have drowned if I kept using, is what he says here. He says it was just booze and drugs and prostitutes and anything he could get his hands on. It was dark times, he said. But, the 4-week stay in the rehab center just fucking
Reset button.
Complete reset button here. Absolutely. He's not. He says, quote, I think the people around me saw things they didn't like in Clarence Kay. Again, that's how many?
Three.
I'm going to keep a tally.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Then I can just do it quickly if I need to.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of it happening to me. The abnormal behavior, the attitude change. It's really hard to see that when you're chemically dependent. Dan sat me down and offered me every possible option. He's like, you can keep playing,
right,
or you can keep playing,
right,
or I'll just give you more cocaine.
I thought you meant like you could snort it, you could fucking shoot it, you can,
if you
smoke
freebase it, I hear it hit you fast. Just going to say that.
He gave me all the options.
He said he reassured me I could come back to the team. He and I have more than a player-coach relationship. He says that again. That has helped me through this. It's difficult to find a coach who'll help a player like that. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And then he winked and nudged the interviewer with his elbow slightly. So I don't know what that means. He said, I'm still working on my rehabilitation. I'm not that stable yet. It's a long process, and I'm just trying to stay sober day to day. Well, that's good here. He says that he's involved with AA, but, you know, at this point, he's not admitting that cocaine was the problem publicly, but everybody knows it, but he won't say it. It's one of those things. He's just talking about alcohol. He said, I was just a chemically dependent person. Yeah. That includes all mind-altering chemicals, alcohol, marijuana, LSD, cocaine. In the end, they all have the same effect. I wasn't a druggie. I never reached the point where I was trying a bunch of everything. He's just saying all the drugs are the same. He's not saying he did all that.
Okay.
He's just saying they're all the same.
Got it.
So whatever you're into, that's that basically. He says that I felt like my whole career was over when this came out. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. It took 2 weeks to clear that dark cloud away and start looking forward to a better life. He credits Dallas Cowboys player Thomas Hollywood Henderson for aiding in his recovery.
Oh my God.
Henderson is 3 years removed from forcibly face fucking a paraplegic teenager in a fucking sleazy motel room.
That had already happened
3 years before this.
He's crediting that man.
Yeah, because that was the bottom for Thomas. He had to go to jail, and now he's out and helping other people. That's the other thing. You can't go from
fucking a handicapped kid's face.
You can't go from forcefully face fucking a teenage paraplegic one day to being like, I've seen the light. Let me help you with your problems now the next day. Okay?
Wow.
I want 20 years in that buffer zone of you.
I am shocked.
Never fucking, a paraplegic against their will again.
Where is the humanity in a man when he can't? Why would you, James? Why would you ever say that man helped me? What? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yep. He said
don't say his name.
Fucking. Apparently, at that point, Thomas was working in drug rehab programs then, and he reached out to Clarence Kay when he saw it.
James, I got a DUI recently, and I just want to tell you it's okay. Harvey Weinstein is helping me through.
Are you good? That's good. Helping you with your groping problem that you have. That's good.
He's helping me with my drinking.
You're drinking and groping because you grope when you drink. That's the issue here. I mean, you don't grope when you're sober.
What is he doing?
3 years afterwards. This isn't 2003. Right. I could see that. It's like, well, yeah, he's been sober for 20 years now, and he won the lottery, I think, by then. Thomas was doing good things, building like football stadiums for kids and shit. This was literally...
He's still going through the court process.
Oh, he's still got parole fucking meetings to go to every week, and he's helping people. Wow.
Holy shit.
He said, though, he was worried that he would be able to return to the club in the same way. He said, anytime you're taken out of a situation, then put back in it with a label on your back, you're underconfident. Which, under.
I've never heard underconfident.
I don't think I've heard overconfident. I'm sure there is an underconfident if there's an overconfident, but you never hear that.
Never heard it ever.
That is wild. Wow. He says, quote,
I think the word is humble, right?
Yeah, I don't fucking know what. It's not that. I know that much.
It's not underconfident.
It's not underconfident. I mean, like I said, I'm sure it's a word.
It's got to be.
But I've never heard it used before, so there's got to be something that's said for that, right?
That sounds like a guy that's reaching for a smart word.
Yeah. He's been talking to Hollywood Henderson, and Hollywood's like, listen, what you need is more syllables. So this is what it is. If you're not going to do cocaine, you got to have more syllables, and people believe that you're not doing cocaine.
Keep your mouth busy. It'll keep your nose from having to work.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I feel like the more syllables you use to describe the fact that you're not on cocaine anymore, they think that makes you think that they're not on coke even more. You know what I mean?
It's a hell of a theory.
I think it is. There's a lot of variables when you're starting the recovery rehabilitation processes there's just a lot of variables to consider. You know what I mean? You have to think about things. You have to think about a lot of things. You have to not be underconfident. That's the problem. Fucking ridiculous.
Holy shit.
He says, I know people were wondering what kind of changes I'd gone through, what kind of mental changes. I wasn't the same guy when I came out. 4 weeks. That's it.
Yeah.
He said, I'm glad my teammates accepted me back. John Elway said, I'm glad to have you back. He supported what I'd done, and he was proud of what I'd done. He says, I'm more aware of what's going on with Clarence Kay now.
That's number 5.
4.
Four.
Sorry. Things are definitely better. They've got to get better anytime you can stop using chemicals.
Yeah.
So it's 4 Clarence Kays and a couple and one rehab stint. That's his first rehab stint.
4 Clarence Kays and 1 underconfident.
And 1 underconfident. I love it. So 1987 season comes along here, and again, he's playing. He plays in 12 games, starts 12 games, 31 receptions, career high, 440 yards, career high, averages 14.2 per. No touchdowns that year, but still doesn't matter. He's doing pretty damn well. That's a lot of catches. He's a first down machine, this guy. Yeah. 87, the Broncos go 10-4-1. That was the strike shortened season.
Oh, okay.
And so, the regular players only played 12 games there after the crossing the picket line there. The Broncos go to the playoffs. They beat the Oilers 34-10 in the first round. Warren Moon, I'm sure. They beat the Browns 38-33 in the championship game. God damn it, Cleveland had to hate John Elway.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, my
Oh, boy, do
God, do they have to hate John Elway.
It's really disgusting how much they hate John Elway.
Well, you drafted Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
He walks like a fuck. He has both his legs broken and in casts. What did you expect?
Well, if it wasn't for John Elway going to Denver, they likely wouldn't have to play John Elway.
Oh, yeah. He would have went,
He would have went to Indy, and Indy
would
was
have been terrible for years.
forever.
It wouldn't have mattered.
No.
They didn't care.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been John Elway running for his life until he was too injured to play anymore. That's how that would have worked.
And they would have loved it because it wouldn't be him beating the ever-living shit out of them every year.
Every single year. Clarence is active in the playoffs. 5 receptions for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns over the playoff run here. So that's good for a tight end. They go all the way to the Super Bowl to play the Washington Redskins and get trounced by them 42-10. Doug Williams. That was Timmy Smith. You know what Timmy Smith is?
So ugly that year.
The only guy only had one good game, and it was whole life, and it happened to be in the Super Bowl for fucking 197 yards or something. The Washington running back there. So what are you going to do though? It's they lose. That's their second Super, but they went twice in a row. Not bad. 1988, Clarence is back talking about his publicly about his drug habit. This is when he talks about how the Georgia coaches knew what the fuck was up.
Oh, he's into.
This is when he starts saying, "Oh, I know what I'm. I'm going to tell you
this for years, and everybody was fine with it then. Now all of a sudden we got a problem.
Now it's a fucking issue."
Right.
He said that about that. The quotes I said before, but the coaches knew, and I think the coaches knew, but they knew that I was doing my own thing and dancing the Clarence Kay's beat. There's that part. And then he said, quote, I didn't mislead anybody. I was pretty sure they knew something was abnormal from the things I was doing. I was late for practices and meetings quite a bit. So that's fucking, He says, quote, this is about, he said he thought that head coach Vince Dooley knew of his drug and alcohol use. He says, quote, Coach Casey told me one day, Clarence, you're a hell of a football player and a lot of things come natural to you, but when you get off the field, you sprout horns.
Wow.
So
that's a
that's
bit far,
something to say.
Yeah.
Now that Coach Casey later on will say that the paper will ask him, and he says he was unaware of the problem. He said that Clarence, quote, always looked clear, neat, and sharp. He said, would have been the last player on the team I thought would have gotten involved in drugs. Really? Is what he says. Clarence, on the other hand, says he was consuming about 8 or 9 beers a night and about 8 or 9 gin and tonics. That's, not a 240-pound guy having 8 beers after 3 hours of football practice. That's no big deal whatsoever. He needs those calories.
Listen, 165-pound me, 8 beers isn't that big of a deal.
8 or 9 beers and 8 or 9 gin and tonics.
That's a problem.
That's 16 to 18 drinks, which is a shitload for anybody. That's a lot.
And depending on how strong you make those gin and tonics, that could turn into, that's a case.
Well, yeah. Well, I can understand why he was drinking so much, probably because he didn't feel it as much, because he says he was doing cocaine, quote, probably 5 or 6 days a week.
Oh, boy.
It's a lot of coke. Yeah. So if you're doing, that's a lot. He wants to party.
He feels sober.
Drink all night. Right. This new coke keeps him up. I mean, that's a crazy lifestyle.
I can't imagine.
I mean, especially being like this athlete, and it's a wild fly by the. It's crazy, Jimmy, very crazy, but not nearly as crazy as the sales, Jimmy. The sales in January of 1988 that's the crazy part.
Are they in Denver?
No, they're not. These are in Camden, New Jersey.
Oh,
these outside of Philly, there across the water. So, Camden, New Jersey. If you happen to be there in 1988 in January, there's some sales for you. Head on down to your local Chevy dealer, where you can get a 1988 Chevy Beretta.
Oh boy,
one of those with the tail lights were all across the back, all in one thing.
I'm trying to think of a worse car than anything Chevy that year.
I remember
the Corsica.
Oh, they had a Corsica too on here.
Jesus.
I didn't take that one. The Beretta was cheaper.
The Celebrity.
Oh, the Celebrity was bad. The Chevy Celebrity.
Chevy really
was a hunk of shit.
They screwed the pooch.
They had Nova still in the 80s too, and they were a dumpy little car. I knew a girl in high school who had a shitty mid-80s Chevy Nova.
A 2-door hatchback.
It was a tiny little piece of shit. It was tiny. It wasn't a muscle car by any stretch. It was like a compact 16-year-old girl car.
It was an 86 Geo Metro.
That's what it was. Yeah, it's just not.
It was a metal Geo Metro.
Well, this Beretta is a 2-door coupe, blue bucket seats. You got that. Rear defogger. That's something. 2-liter engine, 4-cylinder automatic, so you know it hauls ass on a big American hunk of shit. Radial tires, battery.
I would hope so. It fucking better have one. Or I've got shit to do to this.
Bring your own battery if you want to buy a new car. Hook it up to the light socket for a while. What the fuck? Power steer. That's not something you advertise. No. Power steering and brakes, pinstripes.
Oh, that's an add-on.
AM/FM stereo, not a cassette, just AM/FM stereo. $8,785
for a brand new car.
Brand new. That is a savings of $1,900. It's on sale. You're getting an optional discount.
$10,000 car.
Yeah, it's a $10,000 car. Also, a 1988 Chevy molester van.
Yeah.
They still made those. A big molester van. When you think of what would come up and steal your child, this thing.
Right. Did it have the bubble window, or is this a windowless one?
No, not a windowless one. It had it was like
the bubble window on the back?
It was like you're either in the 70s going from town to town solving crimes, or in the 80s going from town to town fucking kids. One of the two.
Or you've got a giant talking dog as your crime solving sleuth.
Well, that's always helpful. Yeah. Who doesn't want that, Jimmy?
But don't worry, his appetite for giant sandwiches is unmatched.
Oh, of course it is. You're going to want to watch him eat one, too. So, 1988 Chevy molester van. It is, what is this? Front auxiliary seat. I guess that's the captain chair type thing. Rear,
one chair.
One captain chair. Rear springs.
I would hope so.
V6 engine, automatic, power steering, AM radio, not even FM. In 1980 fucking
Does it have a fucking tape?
It's AM.
It's a luxury vehicle.
If we get out of the neighborhood, we're going to lose this station. Are you kidding me?
It's got one seat. How dare you think it's got FM radio?
Jesus Christ. Oh, no, this is the one. Here's a picture of it, Jimmy.
Oh, boy, I can't wait to see this.
It's got nothing on the side.
No windows. It's the short-faced
one. It's a molester one.
Yeah,
it's a total molester van. This price here, you get it for $999.99. $10,000. $9,999. You can get a big molester van.
Vans were surprisingly enough expensive. It's a big vehicle.
Well, SUVs are expensive.
It's a lot of car.
That's that market.
Yeah,
that's turned into SUVs
because it was so much goddamn metal.
Yeah, and it's people want to take their kids in and load up their stupid soccer gear
and your kids.
That's it, and everybody's kids in one of those. And
their kids.
Any kids who happen to be outside the elementary school, just hanging around. So also head over to your
take their kids in.
I couldn't help it. Sorry.
It's fascinating. I'm so glad they never did that in an ad.
No.
Sometimes people want to take their kids.
You just stop. Come on, kids, and they hop in the car. You're like, no.
Whose kids are those?
Please let those be that guy's kids. So also at the old electronics store, because I love some late 80s electronics, we have a VCR, what is this here? 3-beam laser. It's touting programmable remote, high triple beam pickup, or features triple beam pickup, ultra low distortion, rugged metal chassis. I gotta have that.
What is this?
It's a VCR.
Okay.
Advanced error processing circuitry and some programming shit. $177.
Rugged chassis. That means
it's
if
hard.
you throw it down the stairs,
it's metal.
It sits on your fucking TV for 30 years.
If you drop it, though.
Right. Nobody's ever moved their VCR until it needed repair.
Underneath it, they found their dead aunt.
Right.
Oh, that's where she went. Jesus.
Yeah.
What the hell happened here?
They certainly found a mouse under it.
That's $177 for a VCR, and that is actually, Jesus Christ, that's on sale from $249 for this thing. Some speakers, some Advent speakers are $88 each.
Yeah,
they look like shit.
They're crap.
6.5-inch woofer. So there you go. 26-inch color TV.
Okay.
$588.
Wow.
And that is on sale from $699.
Wow.
So back then, a 26-inch TV, a shitty whatever fucking tube TV
with the bubble screen
was $700.
Also 700 pounds.
And you can get a 70-inch HD TV for that right now. Literally, you can walk into Target and get a 70-inch TV for that price.
A 27-inch TV today is like $90.
If that, yeah. They're like, well, it's the packaging and the shipping. The TV's worth nothing, obviously, but when you put it in a box, it
takes a lot of cardboard.
You got to pay someone to take that somewhere. Is what I'm getting at. And then finally, a Panasonic VCR. Oh my God, the first one was a Beta, by the way. It was not a VCR. It was a Beta player.
That was
That was
a Betamax.
a Betamax.
Wow.
Now we got a Panasonic VCR. This motherfucker's not messing around. It has Omni Search. 17 times normal playback speed.
Boy.
So you can go right through it. 21-day, 8-program electronic digital timer and clock. $329 on sale from $399.
See why Best Buy was thriving? How much that fucking product cost?
So much money these costs. And they'd have like two of them and you'd come in and go, it's a big decision.
That's what,
Because it was.
This is why Best Buy crushed it.
I could pay my mortgage or buy this VCR. They're the same.
Friday night, no wonder that was family night renting a movie. Yeah. Because it was a fucking investment.
Yeah, it was a goddamn investment. And you had to rent a movie because back then to buy one, the fucking VHS tapes were like $100 too. Couldn't get one of those either.
This is crazy.
It was crazy. So after that, more drug talk here. He says, Clarence, since the Super Bowl, he said he's been in Atlanta visiting friends, college friends and shit like that. He says that he's enjoying himself. He says he likes being with friends. He said, though, after a while, he said that he was hanging out with his friends, and he said that he soon began to realize there was an enemy in the house. Cocaine.
Yeah.
There was cocaine in the house.
I smell it.
People, I smell it. Who's got cocaine? I smell it.
I can see why Dan Reeves also likes him.
It's in the upstairs bathroom. I'm going. He's in the
Under
basement.
the toilet seat lid, you bastard!
He smelled that from the basement.
Holding out on me.
You fucking
Dan
bastard.
Reeves also likes him because of the Atlanta or the Georgia connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's from Georgia. He's from
a Georgia guy.
I can help this guy out.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Really?
He tries for years.
Oh my God.
He says that Kay was the temptation got to him, and he says he knew it was there. He said, "quote I could have went on a binge so easily it wouldn't have been funny. I was away from Denver. Nobody would have known unless you got arrested for driving or something." He says, but he didn't. He says he could have done it. He said it was right there. He said he wanted to. He was totally into it. He said he ran out of the house to get away from it and went to a telephone where he could call people. He said he talked to a couple of friends of his, somebody for 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour and a half. He just kept talking to whoever would talk to him until the panic and desire were subsided, and he could do that. And he talked to somebody that he'd spent time in rehab with, and he also talked to Hollywood Henderson at that point.
Jesus God.
And he said, quote, Kay said that he didn't want to end up like Hollywood Henderson, in prison for face fucking a paraplegic.
For fucking rape.
Thing. Yeah, that whole thing of a teenager, mind you. Underage and handicapped.
Extremely vulnerable.
And very vulnerable, very disabled. He says that he hasn't had any drugs or alcohol, not even a beer. Since before the Super Bowl, since he went there, it's been a year, no beer, no nothing. He gets regular tests. He says, quote, I still fear relapsing today. The guilt trip would be unbearable if I did. I think I would go completely under if I relapsed. That makes sense. He says that he was so fucked up during playing football all the time, even when he was an all-pro, that, he'd be drunk and high, not on the field, but just from the night before. He said he was lucky he even knew his assignments because he wasn't studying as much as he should have. He said he didn't really prepare for games. He just kind of showed up, and luckily he was a tight end.
This is what happens when every day is a win day.
That's it, yeah.
You got no reason to try.
No, that's what I mean. I don't have to make an effort. He was like, I'll just jump over it, or I'll just, play football better, or basketball, or
do coke, or
be better at track. It's hard if life is too easy for you. Sometimes it is very difficult because it gets harder.
Yeah.
Eventually, everything's not so easy.
Yeah.
He says he didn't even realize sometimes who they were playing until they got there. Shit like that, you'd be like, oh, we're playing the Chargers. Okay, cool.
I cannot imagine that life.
Yeah, just didn't even pay attention in practice or anything, wasn't just not even doing it.
What the fuck?
Yep, he said, I let myself get away from football. I forgot what got me here. He was showing up late for meetings, dropping passes. He said it was just, he said Elway stopped throwing to him. He felt, John Elway says, quote, I could never depend on him. I didn't know if he was going to be in the right spot. I didn't know if he was going to catch it. All this is very intricate. If you're a tight end or a wide receiver, the quarterback expects you to be in a particular place, and he's throwing it well before you get there.
Right.
So you have to end up there, or else it doesn't work out that way.
A lot of times the ball comes out before you're even looking.
Oh yeah, you're running on the field, and he's throwing it to your right and fucking ahead of you because that's the way you're breaking, and you look up at the last second and the ball's in your hands. That's how the NFL works. That's how perfectly timed everything has to be.
Yeah.
So if one guy's just running around and not in the right spot exactly, Elway goes to throw to him and he can't. Now he's got to look for somebody else or scramble.
And you're not there to block for me. I'm getting. You're going to get him hurt.
Yeah, that's what it was. He says that Reeves suspected that he had a problem. They said the positive urine test for him was on December 11th, which was day after his accident and the day before he goes to rehab here. He said that Reeves invited him into his office, yelled at him for 15 minutes, and told Kay not to return until he cleaned up his act. So he said Kay said he went home and got shit-faced drunk after that.
Wow.
Went home, he said, quote, I got drunk that day, drunk that night, and drunk the next night. That Saturday night, I got so blitzed, heck, the limo driver had to carry me into my house.
Unbelievable.
That's above and beyond to carry a 240-pound man into his house and be like, motherfucker, I'm leaving you on the sidewalk.
Get the fuck out.
I'll push you out of the car, and then you can fucking find your way back to the house. Wow. He says, I didn't care. I was into fast cars, ladies, and having a pocket full of money.
Who doesn't like that?
I think that's the crime and sports mantra. Quote, I didn't care. I was into fast cars, ladies, and having a pocket full of money. That's, quote, the last 190 athletes and him. What the fuck?
They all like it.
He says, drugs can happen to anybody. He said, there's no certain person it can happen to. Rich man, poor man, white man, black man. It's something that takes control of you. You don't control it, and the more money and fame you've got, the more likely you're going to get involved in something like this. Not necessarily. You have more opportunity to, because people will give you things for free. The biggest fear I have is going back to cocaine. It was my drug of choice. It's very easy to relapse. It seems so far behind me, yet it's right up there behind my eyes all the time. My problems are behind me for one day, today. Tomorrow's another day. So, not bad. He does say that, players have been basically supportive, except for one guy on the Patriots who likes to mock him about his drug use while they play.
Who is it?
He wouldn't say.
He doesn't say?
He says, quote, they had this big old fat lineman. He said to me, Clarence, why don't you check yourself back into a clinic? I said, why don't you check yourself into a fat farm? He got quiet after that.
Not a bad comeback.
Especially if we're on a football field.
Pretty solid.
You fat motherfucker. Who are you talking shit to?
Eat shit, Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, shut up. Jesus Christ.
You eat everything else.
Yeah, why not? God damn it. So,
oh boy,
the team that year goes 8-8, and they do not make the playoffs in '88. Clarence, though, 14 games, 34 receptions, career high, 352 yards, and 4 touchdowns, another career high. So he's starting to. That looks like Elway can depend on him a little bit more. 34 throws that's a lot of catches for a tight end. That's not bad. Now, September of 1980. Now we're into 1989. September 8th, 1989. He is arrested for speeding and DUI DUI in Colorado.
God damn it.
And, of course, not having a license.
In 89?
In 89.
You really got to work to get a DUI in Colorado.
Well, he's pulled over by police. He was driving a 48 and a 30. So that'll get you pulled over, obviously. Not like he was driving a 38 and a 30.
Get you questioned.
That'll get you questioned. It's in Edgewater, Colorado, here on the outer edge of Denver. He had a 0.83 blood alcohol level. Back then, the legal limit was 0.10.
0.083.
0.8. Yeah, 0.083. What did I say? 0.83.
0.83 would be
a lot.
Legit
You'd
dead.
be dead.
Yeah.
It's like fucking.
That is a drinking
That's
sumbitch.
10 times the legal limit,
Right.
basically. Yeah, no. 0.083 is his blood alcohol limit. Now, is his blood alcohol. The limit back then was 0.10.
Yeah.
So he's under the limit, actually, but he fails a field sobriety test, and they take him in for being impaired. And they think he's fucked up on other things, too.
Which is probably true.
They're not positive here. Now, this action starts a ball rolling with the Broncos, where they start a new rule.
Yeah,
this is a new rule now. Okay,
the K rule.
This is the K rule.
Rule K.
Rule K.
Yeah,
is if you get a 1-game suspension, any Broncos player arrested on drug or alcohol related charges. Wait for it. After 1 a.m. Not at all.
After 1 a.m.
After 1 a.m.
We'll qualify this.
That's what it is. Literally, that's what he said to the press. Anybody gets in trouble for drugs or alcohol after 1 a.m., he's in trouble.
4 p.m.
Fine.
Let it slide.
You can get pulled over for having no license, reckless driving while doing coke off your dashboard. No problem.
I mean, technically, isn't that after 1 a.m.?
Isn't everything after 1 a.m. eventually? I guess, really.
Every second of the day is after 1 a.m.
It's a circular clock, man.
Right.
It's all circular, man. It's all after 1 a.m., bro.
Fucking idiot.
If they make a rule in your honor, that's not great.
It's terrible.
If they make a rule, if it's like, we need to really... because of you, we need to make others know that they can't be like you.
You're being made an example for the rest of everybody's benefit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Make sure everyone doesn't fuck up. Let's tell them about your
like
fuck ups.
You.
Yeah, tell them all about it. But regardless of all this, he plays in 16 games, starts all 16 games. So far, he's basically, outside of his rookie season, he started every game he's ever played. So he is their regular. So I mean, every Bronco game in the 80s, they'd show the starting lineups. It's always him.
I've seen him.
Clarence, you hear Pat Summerall, Clarence Kay at tight end. So that sort of thing. So all 16 games, starts all 16, 21 receptions, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns for Clarence in 1989. Now the Broncos that year go 11-5. Yep. They're back to being a good team. They were 8-8 the year before. Yeah. They go divisional round of the playoffs. They beat the Steelers 24-23. Yep. Remember that game? It was a nail biter. Then they go to the conference championship for the third year of the 80s against, guess who? Cleveland. Yeah. God, they have to hate John Elway.
They do.
37-21, the Broncos win that one, too. But you know what? I'm sure they felt better the next week at the Super Bowl when the 49ers absolutely...
Oh, boy.
I can't even. It would be like if you put a professional boxer in the ring with a child.
Yeah.
The result would be the same as this football game.
This football game is exactly what happens when the very last place NFL team plays the best college team.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
This is what would happen.
The 49ers are the worst football team, and the Broncos are the best college. It is a dismantling.
It was a mess.
They gave Denver so much credit this year. This is going to be the best Super Bowl ever.
Oh, yeah.
Worst Super Bowl.
Montana and Elway. Everybody was very excited. The two marquee quarterbacks.
Denver scored 10? 10 fucking
55 to 10.
Oh, boy.
55, too.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
that's a whooping.
That's ugly.
That's the third Bronco loss of the night. So, he has more Clarence Kays in the third person than Bronco Super Bowl losses so far. So
that's good news.
It's not bad. It's good news.
Or bad news for Clarence.
Yeah, we don't have any idea here. So yeah, he is. Jesus Christ, man!
First time I cried. That one right there.
That Super Bowl?
That's the one.
That was a bad Super Bowl.
That was real fucking...
I was rooting for the Broncos hard. That sucked.
That really hurt.
That was a bad one.
There was so much of really just the matchup between Elway and Montana of how great this is going to be.
It was huge.
This is going to be amazing to watch.
Two marquee quarterbacks.
The only people it was amazing for were San Francisco 49ers.
They must have had a ball.
The rest of the country was like, what the fuck?
Even they turned this shit off in the third quarter.
Sucks.
Yeah, they were like, never mind. It's over. I'll see him at the parade.
Boy, oh boy.
Jesus. So it's at this point that a report comes out, and this is interesting because Clarence is going to have a lot to say about this because of a report that comes out about him. A report comes out that several high-level and white quarterbacks in the NFL have tested positive for cocaine over the last few years, and it has been pushed under the, swept under the rug and kept quiet because that'll hurt the league's image.
Right.
It's one thing to have some tight end nobody knows about or some running back or something, but they look at the white guy quarterback back then in the 80s as that's the face of the franchise.
Still today.
But I mean, now it can
Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, if they're all caught doing coke together.
Yeah, forget it. But I mean, now it can be Patrick Mahomes. It can be guys like that. Like, that's fine now because it's younger people are watching. It's good. But back then it was, this is, make everybody else could be going crazy. That guy's going to come on TV.
Johnny Unitas.
Show what a square he is. And I'm a good role model for your kids and you come on out here.
How square is Johnny Unitas? Look at that haircut.
Look at his head. Even his head is square. That's how fucking square he is.
His helmet is a square.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So Clarence Kay hears about white quarterbacks testing positive for use and not being forced to undergo counseling or being subjected to an accelerated drug testing schedule. He says, quote, "It hurt me to know that kind of stuff goes on. The fact that I went the whole 9 yards and they did not."
Didn't you forget? Did you already forget about the Shrine game?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
but still, this is. He said, if you have a policy in place, it should be enforced for everybody. When I was in the clinic in Anaheim going through rehabilitation, somebody told me about the quarterbacks. I said, don't they have to go to rehab too? He said, no. Yeah, because that would look bad. He's saying that he and a lot of other black players have said for some time that they believe white players used as much cocaine as them, but are not subject to the policy as much as black players are because they're the faces of the franchise. He said that 32 of the players suspended since this is in 1990. 32 players suspended for drug use since 1988. You get suspended after your second offense. That's your second failed drug test. 28 are black out of 32. Okay. It's like a 50-50 league at that point. So that's way out of whack as far as that goes.
Just the black guys are on coke.
It's the 80. Everybody's doing coke.
Every white guy was on coke to keep up with the black guys.
There you go. Yeah. If you got to block Lawrence Taylor, you better do a couple lines. Put it that way.
Better get a key bumper too.
Yeah. No shit. Now his agent said that other agents he's talked to and quarterbacks themselves have confirmed this information, saying that the league has ignored positive drug tests about them. He says, quote, one said the NFL simply, quote, forgot about it. The second said he wasn't told even about it. They just threw it out. And the third said he was, quote, given a pass, and the agent adds that a black defensive lineman might not have had. No, Dexter Manley was getting suspended for this shit at this point. So he says it's especially annoying to him, Clarence does, because there's a problem here. While this is going on, a confidential letter from ex-commissioner Pete Rozelle comes out, the silver-haired white man of the silver-haired middle-aged white men. It addresses this here. This letter is addressed to Clarence Kay, and the details of this are very interesting here. According to this, the NFL made a deal with Kay to stop him from discussing these test results that he's going to discuss anyway. The deal, Kay, who had tested positive for drugs, wouldn't be banned for life because this is his third strike if he didn't talk. If he didn't talk about the quarterback situation. This is in writing from the commissioner of the fucking league.
Oh, that's not good to have.
The NFL is the biggest, shadiest, fucking awful wannabe racket, hypocritical mafia family there is. It's fucking insane. It's insane. There's so much over time, the 40s, 50s, 60s, there was so much shady shit nobody ever heard about. Players were fucking gambling, shaving points like crazy. Nobody fucking knew about it. They cover it up. We were talking about it before. Pete Carroll, watching him coach yesterday.
Yeah.
Coach, oh, what a great coach. Oh, my God, he's the best coach.
He's a piece of shit.
That's funny. All of his players that he helped fucking recruit, with USC. I'm talking with what he gave them.
Yeah.
Giving away shit so they'll play on the team that he knew about all that shit.
Sure.
They all get to lose Heisman trophies.
Everything.
And people call them pieces of shit. Pete Carroll knew about all that shit and was authorizing, and everyone's like, oh, great coach.
Right.
He's going on to the next job. Great coach. He could just get another job. And
He
nobody cares.
Dick to Seattle.
Yeah. But let's bring
the fuck out of USC.
But let's take away a trophy from Reggie Bush.
Right.
8 years later.
Who had to put up with Kim Kardashian
He won on
shit.
Yeah. He deserved the trophy just for that. Yeah. The stiff arm is for her family. The rest of them. Keep these fucking cameras out of my face, god damn it, with your fucking pain in the ass mother. That Kris Jenner is the most evil woman on the planet.
She is a terrible person.
She is awful.
Yeah.
She will sprout horns and a tail one day and tell us all that she's been fucking. I swear, I'm not a religious man,
right.
But if the devil is among us and will someday make him or herself known, it's already here.
It is either her or Ryan Seacrest who facilitated all that horse shit.
Yeah. Well,
fucking jerks. Fucking jerks.
So this is a big deal here. The NFL denied this, saying, quote, no decision has been made on Clarence Kay's status and no deal has been made with Clarence Kay or his attorney. Yeah. His agent then after that has to deny the deal was made, but he said that Kay was not, they told him he wasn't going to get suspended for life, so he doesn't understand. I guess there's not a deal, but they're actually going to give us what we want. It makes no sense here. So he's arrested here. Or this is between his arrests and the 2 different suspensions for the drug program thing. I guess they could give him a lifetime ban here. Now, the letter from Rozelle warned that Kay was considered to be in what's called Step 2 of the league's 3-step program. He also wrote that the handling of Kay's positive tests, the second one, was cause for concern. The letter said, from Pete Rozelle, quote, only my dissatisfaction with the administrative handling of certain matters related to your recent positive testing has led me to refrain from removing you based on that testing for a minimum of 30 days from the Broncos roster, a consequence normally called for in Step 2 under the league policy. Now, he said that this was Kay's last chance and all this. He said that another positive, even for an alcohol offense, would be an all ban here. Now, Jesus Christ, he said that this positive test, then we'll talk about what happened with that, was 3 months before all this happened. This was in July of '88. This all happened.
I'm shocked Rozelle would put all that in writing.
Yeah,
that is fucking ballsy.
That's what I mean. I guess he says Rozelle questions the validity of some of this stuff. He's saying some of it he didn't say, but then the other stuff he said. If it's all in the letter, you said it all. Either the letter's not from you, or it is.
Either it's 100% bullshit or it's 100% true.
I wrote paragraphs 1 and 3, but it's
the rest of it,
2 and 4 is.
Where the fuck would that come from?
I don't know who said that shit.
That's
Jesus
crazy.
Wow. So they're saying that they're wondering if if they do decide to do this, would this test withstand legal scrutiny if it's challenged? Because they're saying there's questionable handling of his sample. In July of 1988, they said there's claims of its incompetence against Dr. Forrest Tennant, who was the NFL drug advisor at that point. He had resigned by then. Now. They established this new program with toxicologists and all this type of shit, and they're saying that they've established a new program in '89, so all the positive tests from before shouldn't count. We should start with a clean slate. That's what the players' union's saying, and the NFL is not saying that. Now, according to this, the new things they put in '89 were to make the procedure standardized.
Uniform
here, like the rest of the league. So according to this, Kay's July 1988 specimen was held for 12 days before being screened at the laboratory. I don't know if that changes. I don't know if that adds cocaine to your urine or not, but
At minimum, you'd think it would just dissipate things, wouldn't it?
I don't know. He said that time lapse could affect the result's accuracy, is what the doctor here says. This is Kay's agent here. I'm not in a position to make a determination on the ramifications of what any test should be, but if this information proves to be accurate, it would concern me. Yeah. I would say so. Yeah. They end up not suspending him for life, so I would say what he's saying is true because that's what ended up happening. They can deny it all they want. Well, then why didn't they suspend him for life?
God, he won again.
So he won again.
Oh, boy.
He's back, and, well, he's going to lose now, though. Yeah. June of 1990, he is convicted for drunk driving last year there. And July of 1990... oh, boy. He is arrested for the charge ends up being way less than what it was. The charge ends up being disturbing the peace in the end. That's what he's going to end up pleading to. But, wow.
What was the charge?
He broke into his girlfriend's apartment.
Oh, you dick.
Let's get into this. July 31st, 1990, so day after his birthday, too. He's feeling, he broke down the door of his ex-girlfriend's apartment.
You can't do that.
Right away.
Yeah.
If you have to bash your way into a house, then you're not wanted there.
Right.
So he breaks down the door, probably not difficult for a big guy like that, and gets into a shouting match with her, obviously.
Get out. No. Get out.
Yeah. No. I had my door closed for a reason. Right. Well, I can get through it. I don't know. He's arrested originally for disturbing the peace, trespassing, and destruction of private property because he also broke a window because he was mad. He's booked into Denver City Jail, and this is the problem here is he's scheduled to appear before a judge the next day, no earlier than 8:30 a.m. That'll be the first time he can get to see a judge. But the Broncos have a plane chartered leaving for Japan to go play a preseason game at 10 a.m. So there's no way he can get court and back to the plane in time. Okay. Now, the Denver deputy sheriff says, quote, he's not allowed to bond until he sees a judge, and that won't be till today. And they're like, so he ain't going to be playing in the fucking game is what they're saying. Now, he's also facing a lifetime suspension for driving while impaired after all this shit. Not great. But actually, what ends up happening, here's what ended up happening from it. First of all, he broke in. This is his ex-girlfriend, Patricia Spillman. She'll come up again. He's arrested for breaking into her home. They end up letting him bond out after only 5 hours so he can make the team plane.
Oh, those bastards.
That is not standard procedure. They wouldn't let you do that if you had an appointment at all. So they domestic violence charges in Denver call for overnight jail stay while he awaits the next day's hearing. That's the standard thing. The Denver prosecutor said, quote, we were livid. No shit.
Yeah.
I guess so here. He was given a deferred judgment, and that he ends up getting no jail time for that. None. Deferred judgment.
Breaking a woman's door down.
It's fine.
Not even in a relationship with her ex-girlfriend.
It's fine.
Wow.
That's fine. That's perfectly all right. He went and had a couple catches in Tokyo, so don't worry about it.
It was a nice night. I wanted her door open.
I said, you know what? You need a screen door.
Right.
Let me kick this one off its hinges, and then we'll figure it out from there. Wow. So his personal life is falling apart. He says it's at this point that he begins to drink heavily again and all this type of shit. He says, quote, it really pushed me to start contemplating silly things, of doing things I knew eventually would cause consequences that were not going to be real nice. He says it was temptation of going back to 1986, drinking and drugging. All the pressures were there that could have made me do those things. I started drinking quite a bit for a while. It seemed like there was 4 walls around me. Usually there is if you're in a room.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in a house, you're going to have that.
Yeah.
Hey, look around. You got 4 of them here. That's a 3, and you got an issue. Seemed like there was 4.
There's only one way out.
Seems like there's always a roof over my head. It's just weird. Every time I'm indoors, there's a roof. I don't understand it. And a floor under my feet. Seemed like there was 4 walls around me, going around in circles. Every wall I looked at, there was something that reminded me of what I didn't want. Whoa.
Huh?
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Let's break that down. It seemed like there was 4 walls around me going around in circles. Now, is he going around in circles or the walls going around in circles?
Is the room
the room's spinning.
Yeah.
You're drunk, sir.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Stop driving.
Stop drinking and driving. That's what that is.
Get out of the car.
Okay, every wall I looked at, there was something that reminded me of what I didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 4 walls. Let's call one of them booze, one of them coke, one of them whatever the fuck.
One of them
prostitutes,
early retirement.
One of them driving badly.
Right.
And they're spinning around him apparently like a you have to pick one quickly,
right.
like a game show.
Like Mario, what is it, the Mario game?
We have to pick,
game?
3 mushrooms.
Right.
Okay, there we go. So he says there was nothing there that I could really pull out and be happy with. He also said he felt anger that he was arrested in Edgewater for drinking and driving because he says he had hardly even been drinking that day. I had hardly been drinking at all.
I barely drank anything.
So, ridiculous.
0.8. 0.08.
0.83.
Right.
0.083. So, that's good. It's good.
Enough.
It's enough. You guys
Today it's drunk.
Today it's DUI. Done.
Yeah.
That's it. You're out. So he ends up having a meeting with the commissioner now. This is not Pete Rozelle. He's gone. This is Paul Tagliabue.
Got it.
So he's trying to smooth this all over here. Right. It's possible that that anything he's been doing could be construed as a third offense, and he could get a lifetime ban. He says, quote, "I wasn't afraid of going before the commissioner. I was afraid of the unknown," which is the same exact thing. I wasn't afraid of going before him. I was afraid of what he could do to me.
Right.
Well, yeah. You weren't afraid of Paul Tagliabue physically.
No.
He's like a 5'7" fucking accountant looking guy. I'm sure.
Who looks like he asks his wife, "Will you please suck my penis?"
Yeah, please. And then he tells her why he deserves it.
And why he thinks
I did a lot
good.
today. I cleaned the garage. I did this. He's got a lot of things to talk about.
It would feel really good to me, and, I might come.
You were asking for it.
Jesus.
He said, "My agent, Bruce Brown, and I studied what extent he could punish me, and yet the commissioner reserved the right to do what he wanted. That was the fear for me." So he flew to New York, and he met with Tagliabue, and he said he felt fine until he checked into his hotel room when he got there, and then he realized that his football career might be over. He said, "That whole night was hell for me." This is the first time you thought about it? I think the second you're getting pulled over and arrested, you're like, oh, shit, I could lose my job for this shit.
The first time.
Yeah. He says, quote, "I've been dealt a hand that makes me look at my life and my personal problems in public, but some people never get to look at their problems, and they never get to understand why things happen the way they do. The most I can ask is that people be understanding. I can't demand it." That's all reasonable. That's all very reasonable. September 1990, the NFL makes a deal with Clarence here that it is a deal where he's just going to shut the fuck up about everything, and they're not going to ban him for life, basically. He did an on-camera interview saying the drug deal cover-up. In the end, that's what they end up doing, exactly what the letter was. So he ends up, covering it up. Basically, the league lets him cover it up, and then they don't have to worry about it.
He takes option 3?
Yeah, he takes option 3. Yeah. So 1990 Denver Broncos, 16 games. He starts 14, 29 receptions, 282 yards, no touchdowns. The Broncos are 5-11 that year. This is the beginning of the god-awful Broncos. Elway would get hurt a bunch.
This is bad news.
They draft Tommy Maddox in 92. It's not good.
It was, Brister? No, Brister came way later.
After he was in Pittsburgh.
After it was all over for him.
This is the Tommy Maddox first-round draft. Like, here's always the heir apparent.
Right.
Like, nope, he's terrible.
Boy.
Yeah, he's going to be about 10 years before he's a starter.
You're going to have to trade him, and he'll stink there, too.
And he's going to have to go to the XFL and win a title. That's what he did. So 1991 comes around. April 2nd, 1991. Guess what? He's arrested. He is pulled over on April 2nd. Just stop driving. Unsuspected of drunk driving.
Oh, boy.
So this also could get him banned from the league. The blood alcohol level was measured at 0.93.
Okay.
0.93.
We're getting closer.
Still 0.10, but they still said he was fucked up, and he's charged with driving with ability impaired, and there's that. So that's the second arrest for that in the last year.
Right.
He said that the NFL said at this point that they said last year their excuse for not punishing him, not because he didn't talk, they said because he wasn't legally intoxicated. He got convicted of it, so he was legally intoxicated, but he wasn't at the limit. So they said he was being responsible.
This guy.
So he thinks they're going to do the same thing with this here because he's not totally there. So one of the NFL spokesmen said, quote, "There's no current plans to take disciplinary action against Clarence Kay at this time." Okay. The owner, Pat Bolin of the Broncos, said, "I think the whole intention is to say, look, Clarence has got an alcohol problem. He hasn't done anything the league feels he should be suspended for, any punitive measures, but they think he should receive treatment." Well, no fucking shit.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God damn it, Pat.
Come on, Pat. Jesus Christ.
Would you give a shit?
No, absolutely not. I got a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah. Pat's got billions of dollars. He doesn't have time for this shit.
Rest in peace, Pat.
Yeah. So, he has to go to weekly counseling sessions as well as 2 times a week drug tests since the last conviction last year of DWAI. And Bolin said he spoke with Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner, recently, and they talked about it, and Tagliabue agrees that they just need to get him help. So silver as they come.
Don't worry. We're about to draft Shannon Sharp. This is almost over.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's coming real soon. Don't worry about it here. Now, this comes, he again gets arrested here. It's about 2 a.m. He stopped. This is amazing. He stopped to offer to drive home a female acquaintance who had been stopped by Aurora police for making an illegal turn and was later charged with DUI. So, this is fucking amazing. He sees his friend, some woman, on the side of the road, getting pulled over.
Pulled over by the cops.
So he pulls in to be Mr. fucking Hero, and he goes, "Yo, I'll just drive her home. It's cool. I know she's drunk. Rather than arrest her, just let me drive her home."
Oh, boy.
The cops go, "You smell pretty fucking drunk. I smell liquor on your breath. You're going to do a sobriety test here." And he was like, no, I'm just here to pick her up. And they're like, "Cool, do a sobriety test and we'll do that."
It's like, I got to go.
And they go, "You've been drinking tonight?" And he goes, "I only had a couple beers," which means I had a bunch of beers. Means as drunk as you think I am, that's exactly how drunk I am. That's how many beers I had. A bunch of them.
I got pulled over once for DUI. I didn't get a DUI, but the cop goes, "You been drinking?" And I go, "I had a couple of beers." And he goes, "I pulled over a lot of people tonight. Do you know how many people told me they had a couple of beers?"
All of them.
Exactly what he said.
I figured out from...
He goes, I go, "I don't know." He goes, "All of them."
All of them. Okay. I've got the code, by the way. This is the code from watching Live PD.
He looked me right in the face and goes, "All of them." All of them.
People tip their hand.
Yeah.
Because look at it this way. Because they're trying to be like honest, sort of, to look honest enough to get away with it. So here's the deal. If you've had no alcohol at all, you just go, "No, I haven't had anything."
Right.
If you've actually had like 1 beer or 2 beers, but it was like over the course of 3 hours, and you know you're 1,000% so, like not even
not even a question.
You've been sober for 45 minutes. You're 1,000% sober, but you know you've had a beer that night, so you don't want to say in case you can smell it. You don't want to say no, so you go, "I've had a beer."
Yeah.
That means you're not drunk if you've had a beer. That means you have drank, but you're going to blow like a 0.25 or something. It's fine. When you say, "I've had 2 beers," that means you're legally drunk, but not shit-faced. You don't think you're drunk, but you know you're going to blow a point fucking 09.
You know this is about to be a bad night.
You know you're going to jail. But you're not shit-faced. Like, no one would look at you and go, "Man, that guy's hammered."
Boy, oh boy.
Not at all.
No.
You're just too drunk to drive. When you're so drunk you can't stand up, that's 3 beers. No one ever says more than 3, but I literally see them fall down trying to do a sobriety test and go, "I had 3 beers."
And what?
3.
This is 7 pills?
3 is too many to drive, and you know that, so you're admitting that, but you're not admitting you had 14 beers. It's just 3. But that means you're watch Live PD. That's the code.
3 years. What's a couple? When they go, "I've had a
2.
couple."
That's 2.
That's 2. Okay,
that means you're legally drunk.
Yeah, and you know
had a couple. You're legally drunk, but you're not like,
I'm not trash.
How stupid are you to get in the fucking car, dude?
I'm not getting an extreme DUI.
Holy
I'm certainly
shit.
going to jail.
Do you even know what town you're in? Like, that's the guys people people have 3 beers.
When I told him I had a couple, I was just rattled because I made a U-turn in a perfectly legal spot, but I almost hit a curb, so I backed up.
Oh, no.
And then, so I made a 3-point turn.
And that's not good.
That looks bad.
That looks drunk. That looks drunk.
So then I started going the other way because people call me. They're like, bro, we're going to this other house. I'm like, cool, I'm coming. I made I tried to make the U-turn, didn't make the U-turn right. So I made the 3-point, and then I saw lights. I go, I'm going to be late. Gotta go.
Gotta go
and
now.
And the cop comes out the window and goes, how many you had? And I was like, a couple. And he goes, I pulled over a lot of people. You know, people said that. And I was like, how many? All of them.
Well, you were really.
I literally had 2 beers. So I said a couple because that's what 2 is.
No.
So he pulled me out of the truck. I did a field sobriety. I passed great because I was fucking sober.
Yeah.
I knew it.
You knew it, yeah.
But saying a couple, but he was like, fuck out, dude. Get out. Yeah. I mean, get out of the truck. I don't mean get the fuck out of here.
Breathalyzer-wise.
Yeah.
Would have been a close call, right?
I crushed it.
Yeah.
I did great.
Jesus Christ.
But I was rattled.
Yeah. This particular incident, this is a bad. He stops. It's not even he's not even involved in this.
Right.
You don't even have a driver's license.
Bad choice.
Don't stop to try to rescue someone.
You don't pick up chicks that
Call
are
you
being
tomorrow.
Right.
Call me when you bond out. I don't know what to tell you.
You don't try to pick up chicks at the police station.
Yeah.
Or in the DUI line.
No. Well, he's doing it now. So he says he's got a couple beers. They do a test. Guess what? He's had more than a couple beers, and he's going to get arrested for this.
Did he fall down?
No. See, he was just drunk enough to get arrested, but not shit-faced.
Right.
That's what happened. The Dan Reeves calls the incident, quote, an unfortunate thing that happened, and how serious the league is going to deal with it, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
It's up to them.
But it's up to them
I
here.
know a guy.
He wouldn't comment on it. He says, quote, my disappointment is, this is Dan Reeves, first, that he was even in a nightclub, and second, that he'd been drinking.
Yeah.
He said, why did he go there? Why is there always the temptation to drink, and why did he have to take a drink? It's called he's a fucking addict, Dan. Jesus Christ. Reeves said that he's subjected to urinalysis twice a week and also undergoes twice a week counseling. He said, quote, after Kay went to last summer, he said that Reeves said he's reformed. He said there's been a tremendous change in Clarence last season and during this off season. For whatever reason, he got himself in a situation Monday night. I won't try to make a decision too hastily or try to cover it up. He's ordered to rehab by the Broncos.
Yeah.
He's just, he'll be okay.
How hot was she? You know what I mean?
How much did he want to plow her? Yeah, that's what it is.
How bad was he trying?
Or how drunk was he? Which one? Is it a combination of the two? She's kind of hot. He's kind of drunk.
What's
he's super horny. She's a little hot, and he's drunk. Which one?
What's the gap between hard dick and BAC?
That's what I'm saying. There's not very long gap there. His dick is probably bigger.
Yeah,
it makes up a longer gap.
Dick is probably a little bit harder than the BAC.
You could use it as a bridge to get between those two things. Walk back and forth across.
That's that formula.
That's the formula. So, he says that basically Dan Reeves, the NFL's new substance abuse policy, he says, is vague and it removes enforcement powers from the team. He doesn't like that. Dan Reeves says, all I'm saying is the league takes some of the implementation that we had in the past out of the drug program. That's because you didn't do it right, dummy. Look at what happens. The team, when they were doing that, everyone was just doing what they wanted here. Reeves said his biggest beef with the program is that alcohol is looked at differently than an illicit substance such as cocaine, marijuana, or PCP. Because it is different in society.
It's fucking, one's legal and one's not.
Especially in the 80s. Right. One is not only legal, one is a huge sponsor of your fucking job. Huge sponsor. Yeah. King of fucking beers. Every commercial break, they're going to tell you about one of those things.
Go look at the Budweiser halftime show, you fucking idiot.
You mentioned 4 things: alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, PCP. Every commercial break, guaranteed there'll be a commercial for one of those things. And I'll tell you which one it is every
After
time.
This break.
There's never a PCP ad. No one's sitting around going, that new PCP looks good. I mean, I want to get hit in the head with a nightstick and keep coming. That looks like a... Jesus Christ.
Oh, Dan.
But Dan says, whether you like it or not, alcohol is a drug. But as far as enforcement in the NFL, it's treated differently. Dan has been wrong about everything. I know that technically alcohol is a drug, but everything he says is like wrong and tone deaf and
do you understand
dumb.
Why Denver lost Super Bowls until he left?
Yeah. Wrong, tone deaf, or dumb. Which one is Dan Reeves through this whole episode? I don't know which one it is.
He's all of them.
He's a little bit country. He's a little bit rock and roll at this point. I don't fucking know. He's a little everything. I don't know what's going on here.
Get in there and sing Rhinestone Cowboy with an electric guitar.
Do it, goddammit.
Unbelievable.
So 1991, he plays in 16 games, though, that year. I didn't give his stats before. 11 catches, 139 yards. 1992 is the year they draft, quote, John Elway's replacement.
Yeah.
It never really pans out here. 92, he plays in all 16 games. Clarence does. Starts 13 of the games. Only has 7 receptions for 56 yards.
Yeah.
Not great.
No.
Now, he hasn't had a touchdown since 1989, which is also not terrific either.
They should have started looking for John Elway's replacement right about now, too, because when he did leave, he left them high and dry.
Well, Christ, the guy would have been in the league 8 years by the time he left.
But when he left, that's when we got dealt Bubby fucking Brister.
Because they had Brian Greasy and all those guys.
It was ugly.
It was ugly.
For 8 years.
Most teams are ugly.
Jesus.
The Giants are still looking for a quarterback since Phil Simms. I know that Eli won a couple in breaking balls. So, February 10th, 1993, his ex-girlfriend, Patricia Spillman, the one before he knocked her door down, she gets a restraining order on him.
Okay, good.
Because he's got some problems here. On that day, she called police to report that, he is harassing her, is what she says. Now, later on in a police report, she will write this. Quote, I've had multiple bruises and cracked ribs. I'm terrified of him. Last week, he climbed into my interior patio and refused to leave for 3.5 hours. What? That is crazy.
Like one of those closed-in patios?
Yeah, I guess.
For 3 hours?
In my interior patio and refused to leave. Maybe a screened-in porch.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Forcing me to hide in my basement.
Oh, my God.
In fear of this man. He has climbed to my top-level balcony many times. He's scaling
houses.
That's fucking nuts. Quote, and this is one that comes up, quote, once punching me in the face while I was asleep.
Wow.
He broke into her house.
Went in her bedroom and
punched her in her face while she was asleep and then ran away.
Horrifying.
That's the kind of person we're dealing with here.
Where are the police?
Quote, this has been going on for 6 years.
What the fuck?
He thinks he owns me. So all of this is going on at the same time that he's Mr. Hero for going to rehab, and then he's a drug addict, and he's a drunk, and then he's a this, and he's a that. This has been going on.
He's in and out of her house like rehab.
Like rehab, yeah.
Wow.
Only rehab. Now, this particular incident on the 10th of February, Clarence Kay told his probation officers that he merely, quote, tried to restrain Spillman.
For what?
She said she was punching and scratching at him, so he had to restrain her, is what he said. So he roughed her up. You shouldn't be there.
You're not right.
She didn't invite you over.
You broke into someone's house.
So guess what? They can punch and scratch all they fucking want. So she gets a temporary restraining order that directs him not to contact her. That was before, but he did anyway. That was this time in February. He's going to plead no contest to violating that order. He's going to be placed on probation again. So, this is what he also did here. Jesus Christ. He waited for her to get back home with her date. This is what this was, the 3.5 hour thing. He waited there for her. She got back home with a date. Then they saw he was there, so they drove away. So then he followed them away and ran them off the road with his car.
No.
That's another incident that happened right before this. And she didn't report that, and then she reported this.
Oh, boy.
He finally left that night when she threatened to call police. He ran you off the fucking road in a car. He could have killed you.
Why is that a threat?
You just call police.
Yeah.
She said, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to call the cops. Then he left. How about the cops are on the way? They'll be here very soon.
All right.
What the fuck?
You're going to jail. You aren't even supposed to be driving, you dick.
Not at all.
Right.
Especially not people off the fucking road.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Then a week later, he's arrested again for violating a restraining order. The same one on Patricia Spillman. He allegedly phoned her and sent her a fax asking for a meeting. Okay? He did that. Very formal.
He sent a fax
over. I'd like to meet, please. That's how he gets coke from Dan Rather, too.
Check
he sends him a fax.
Yeah.
It's very formal.
Send it back, please.
Check yes or no, like he's in the second grade.
He sends Dan Rather like a menu.
Yeah.
Like with different ounces checked.
It's a Chinese menu. I'll have the number 47. The 47, you know what that means.
I will have 2 of those,
code,
please.
Yeah.
Right.
So here, he sent her a fax. He phoned her, both of those violating the order. She didn't respond.
Right.
So he said, I'll just go over.
Yeah.
I'll just go over there because obviously I should go over there. So he goes over there. And she's not there, but neighbors see him and shit like that. So then he goes back to his house where police come for him because he's not allowed to do any of this. So he barricades himself in his home.
Oh, boy.
For the police.
This is bad.
And ends up jumping from a second-story window.
Yeah.
And running away.
He made it.
He made it. Didn't hurt himself. He pulled an Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Jumped out of the window like fucking Superman. Didn't like climb down. He had to like jump out of the window. Ran away and eluded officers for an hour.
Wow.
While they chased him around, he ran around eluding them for a fucking hour until he finally turned himself in. They didn't even catch him.
He was too tired.
Yeah, he was like, this is rough out here.
I have coke out here.
And what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Live in the woods now? Now I live in the woods. Much better.
Denver's much colder than I remember.
I'm outdoors now. It's no good. So Jesus Christ. He's done so many things. That's amazing, though,
That's
jumping
crazy.
out of a second floor. Why are athletes, they jump out of things, off of balconies, out of...
He goes up and he comes down.
Yeah, he's doing a Jim Neidhart here, except without the...
He's still clearly
fire
athletic.
extinguisher. Oh, he's very
That's my
athletic.
point. If he didn't fuck up, he could still be doing great.
The man's 32 years old and he's leaping out of fucking... So, I mean, it's not like he's not 50.
No.
So he's very athletic. He could still play. I don't know if that was part of the game. He'd excel at it. So February 24th, 1993, he asks for his release from the Broncos.
Yeah.
He says, I got to get out of here. He's had enough.
Yeah.
Which is amazing here.
Doing all this coke here.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here.
The team said, quote, Clarence was worried about us starting new and having all the same haunting stories. I think this is the best for all sides. It took a big man to even think about what he did, but that's the way Clarence wanted to go out. He basically it's a totally new team. Their quarterback Elway was always banged up. Yeah. They had Tommy Maddox. They were going to try to be a running team for a couple of years and unsuccessfully. So they told him basically, you're not going to have a role. Yeah. We're going to be a running team now.
It's over.
They're not catching any passes, and so he asked for his release. 1992, he made $565,000.
That's not
bad. That year, not bad. Now his agent said he wants to continue to play, but he couldn't continue to play in Denver. His agent said, quote, Clarence figures he has one or 2 years of left to play. With all that's going on in Denver, he figured he would do it in a fresh place with a fresh atmosphere. So he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. July of 1993. Who signs him? The Browns.
Oh, shit.
What coach?
Yeah.
That's Bill Belichick.
No kidding.
Bill Belichick, to this day, you always wonder, you see Bill Belichick, every fuck up that gets released, every Antonio Brown, every whatever that's got a bad reputation, Bill Belichick has signed every single one of those guys. Ocho Cinco, everybody who has a bad rep, he's like, we'll try to... all the way back to then.
He's got that whole I can fix you thing.
He signed Clarence Kay. I don't care what you do. If you can just play straight for the few months the season's here, we'll do well, and then I can pretend like I never know you.
Yeah.
Well, he's just, I'm going to extract the football out of you.
He teaches girls that you can fix problem men.
You can, see? Well, you can't because he ends up releasing all of them because you can't fix people.
He breaks up with them eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't work out very often here. He ends up, Bill Belichick, people rip the shit out of him for this, by the way. Like, in Cleveland, they're like, why are you fucking... A, he's a hated Bronco in this time period. And B, it's like, why are you getting him? He's he's just been arrested constantly. He's been beating women up and punching people while they sleep.
Cocaine.
Cocaine,
Don't you remember
DUIs.
Stanley?
We'd like our roads to be safe, please. We don't want him on them.
They're icy and potholed and shitty up here. We don't need him on them.
Yeah, I've seen the Ohio roads. So he ends up not making the team out of training camp. He ends up getting cut.
He didn't make Cleveland.
Doesn't make Cleveland. No, he's done. That's it for Clarence. He's going to be done in the NFL. 135 games played, 193 receptions, 2,136 yards, and 13 touchdowns career.
That's awesome.
And great career. I'd love to have that career. Yeah. But for him, he's done. Nobody wants him anymore. Now what does he do? Wander the streets of Cleveland.
Oh, boy.
Which we've been to Cleveland. He's like, what is that? Exhaust or jizz or both? I smell burning jizz. Do you smell burning jizz?
Garbage? What is that?
No, it's definitely a bodily fluid of some kind. But it's like it's been set on fire.
Oh. It could be. Is it a captive woman in a man's basement?
Possibly. That mixed with, I feel like they set a dead man on fire.
Yeah.
It's dead man's gist.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And women in basements mixed together.
And abortion of
and river
of captor
and river and lake. No good.
Flammable water.
He has nowhere to go, nothing to do. He's trying not to drink. He's trying not to do coke, but now he's been released from the team. What's the difference?
Yeah.
But before he does any of that, he's a big guy. He's very hungry, and he smells something delicious, and he opens the door to a shop, and it's the shawarma man.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The shawarma man's there, and he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? Why you come? You perfect man, big, strong. I 5'6". I weigh 240 pounds too. 5'6". I know run and jump off things. I fall out of windows, second floor, break every bone in legs. You do the... Do you have you hold? No. Yeah. Shawarma men have problem, but I'm okay now. No, you go. Sign say closed. I have restraining order against you now. Restraining order. Go now. You go. Sign say closed. Okay, fine. I make for you, but you bring cocaine next time. We go. Come in here. Poof.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And in a poof of shawarma and tzatziki, he's gone. Clarence is very confused.
Sure.
He definitely thinks he's high.
Yeah.
Or he needs to get high. One of the two.
Is tzatziki, is that liquid cocaine? Is that what that is? Can
It's
I
white.
snort that?
I'll try. Fuck. September 1993, he's got a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
New lady in town
boy.
here. The girlfriend named Jennifer. She stands by him through all this shit until September 1993 when they're in Las Vegas, and he is upset because someone sent her flowers.
Oh.
So,
what the fuck is this?
Rather than ask who this gentleman might be, sending flowers, discuss it in a calm fashion. Maybe she didn't ask for these flowers. She wasn't asking for it. Instead, Kay pushes Jennifer down, then kicks her in the back. And as if that's not enough, he then drags her to the edge of a 20th story balcony.
Oh, my God, no.
And punches her in the face with this right hand, which is his strong hand. Yeah. Basically takes her to the edge of the balcony and begins pummeling her face with his fist.
Oh, my
God. She says, quote, I was trying to defend myself, but there's not much you can do. I'm 110 pounds. He is 230-something pounds.
He has a 110-pound girlfriend that he's beating the shit out of.
That he's dragging around a hotel.
For getting a gift.
For someone sending her flowers.
Oh, boy.
This is very disturbing behavior.
Unbelievable
this
behavior.
Is not okay.
No.
Yeah. So one of her coworkers, she works at a Denver auto dealership.
Yeah.
One of her coworkers told reporters, quote, I've seen her come in beaten and bruised. I've seen him pick her up outside the dealership and try to carry her off. I confronted him when he was doing that. I said, put her down and get out. And he did. This has been going on for a year and a half. So he beat this one up for 6 years, and then she's finally too many restraining orders. Yeah. She's got to find another one to beat the shit out of. This poor girl. Fucking unreal. So that's September of 1993. February of 94, he pleads no contest to violating that restraining order because he then goes back to her. He's placed on probation. Now, later on in 1994, he's arrested again for violating Jennifer's restraining order for catching her outside of a dry cleaner.
Catch me outside.
He did, and he took $700 worth of clothes that she took from the dry cleaner and threw them in a dumpster.
Why would you do that?
Took her clothes out of her hand and threw them in a dumpster.
He's just like he's a bully.
Yeah, he's like a second grade bully.
Yeah.
He like popped up. She was walking. And she's like, "Ha, got your clothes."
Right.
Threw them in the dumpster, then gave her a rip down.
Right.
What the fuck is going on?
And walked off.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And told her mom was fat. Like what?
And took her bike and rode home.
Yeah, ha. Jesus Christ.
This guy's an asshole.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
November 1995, he violates it again, the restraining order. And after violating the restraining order a number of times, he finally pleads guilty to an actual charge here. And holy shit, he's sentenced to something.
Oh, boy.
You, sir, may fuck off 4 months in jail.
Oh, boy.
What, for repeatedly violating the restraining order.
So Jen's got 4 months of peace.
4 months. By the way, this is while the OJ trial's going on.
Wow.
Like athletes who repeatedly go to these women and beat the shit out of them. It should have been in people's fucking psyches and on their minds of, he might kill her.
Right.
He's real aggressive.
Should be right in the forefront.
Yeah, and OJ wasn't a fucking alcoholic or a drug addict. I mean, he did coke and he fucking did.
Just an asshole.
And he drank, but he wasn't like this. Like, he wasn't really into it. He was a party guy. Now, August 9th, 1996, he's out. Freedom is good. He's arrested again, though. Here, he's arrested this time for the attempted murder of a paramedic.
What? How do you get there?
Well, let's find out. Apparently, Jesus Christ, the paramedic, I guess, surprised this person. I guess the guy called somebody called the paramedics.
Yeah.
Somebody called the paramedics to a location. This guy shows up, and whoever the guy was who he was treating, they're charging it's Clarence Kay as they arrest, said that this man that Clarence Kay stabbed the paramedic as he tried to help him.
So Clarence had some sort of an event where people called paramedics for his assistance.
Yes, and when they showed up to try to help him,
he stabbed
him through his bulletproof vest.
Wow, that's a stab.
That's a good stab.
Yeah.
Now, Kay's lawyers say they have the wrong man.
Okay.
Now hear it out, though. This is one time he's actually right in the entire story. His lawyer and they go to court. The woman is Linda Cobb, who's a nurse that says she says that she'll testify that Kay was sound asleep on the couch in her home that whole morning and was nowhere near where they said he was because she was there with him. Police obtained an arrest warrant for him after the man, the nurse at the paramedic, picks him out of a lineup of 6 photographs. Okay. Now we have to say something about this here. Now the police officer said, the paramedic said, quote, "From what I've seen thus far, I cannot say one way or another 100% who was the person who stabbed me." He made the ID, but it's not a positive identification. This goes to, if you read the David Simon homicide book, this is statistics. They've studied this for decades. The worst identifications are different race on different race. Black on white, white on black. Do not identify. People say, black people say white people think they all look alike. Well, guess what? Fucking black people think all white people look alike too. They can't identify them. It's the same thing. It's just not what you're used to seeing. So it's whatever. They explain the psychology of your brain and how it works. Yeah. So that's terrible IDs interracially like that. It's very difficult, especially beyond 24 hours. They say Asian immigrants are the worst at ID. Literally. They will tell a cop all look alike. That's what they'll say. You all look alike.
Right.
White, black, they don't give a shit.
Are you out of your mind?
You don't look like me? Right. Yeah. Only immigrants, obviously. But they said like Asians would get robbed in a store, Koreans would own, and they go, "What do you look like?" And all they could get out of was tall, short, fat, skinny, dark, or light. That's it. They didn't know anything else. Show them pictures, they go, all look alike. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Fucking
Charles
crazy.
Barkley does not look like Dennis Rodman.
No, he doesn't.
He does not look like David Robinson.
Doesn't look like Steve Urkel either, but apparently they would miss him.
Which one got the blowjob?
Yeah. There
in the same car.
Which drug has a commercial? So, the August 14th, a detective noticed that the drawing, because the problem was that he made a composite sketch, the guy. So then the detective thought that the sketch looked like Clarence Kay. So he puts Clarence Kay's picture into a fucking lineup, and then this guy picks him out.
Okay.
That's how this whole thing worked. He picks him out. They finally get a physical lineup, and the paramedic says after he saw Kay's face is, quote, "very similar to the person who attacked me. However, his general build is bigger and taller. I do not believe this was the person." He described his assailant as 6 feet tall, 180 pounds.
This guy's much bigger.
And in his early 20s.
Okay.
Kay is 35, 6'3", and 240.
Right. I realize black don't crack, but 35 is not 20.
And it's also not fucking 180 pounds at 6 foot tall.
Right.
You'd go, big motherfucker would be the first thing you'd say. Fucking huge would be your first. Before you'd even go, he was this, you'd go, huge dude, big, stocky shoulders, fucking scary big guy.
Right.
Like, could fuck me up. So,
thank God he only stabbed me once because his bulletproof vest would be Swiss cheese.
Yeah, no shit. He was held on $500,000 bond since he surrendered to police there. The warrant was alleging attempted first-degree murder and second-degree assault. They said, quote, "It's imperative for us to clear Mr. Kay as well as to catch the person who committed the crime. We had an obligation to bring him in and investigate the case to determine if he was the suspect. I'm very comfortable saying Clarence Kay is not the suspect. I'm sorry he had to go through all this. Only time anyone will ever apologize to him, and it's warranted, actually.
I'm still
here.
not sorry.
No, I'm still not sorry. He deserved it. It kept him from fucking violating restraining orders for a while.
He's a good suspect for it.
Why not? They release him from jail, and he says, quote, "Freedom feels good. I would also like to say to Mr. Voth," that's the victim, "I'm sorry someone committed such a horrible crime against him, and I hope that the Denver Police Department will keep looking for this person because there could be more victims and more wrongfully accused people out there, and I would just like this to be over with. Please don't arrest me for nothing. I give you plenty of reason to do it for something." Wow.
That was the most OJ thing he's ever said.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Now they can look for the real stabber.
Right.
Yeah. That's what. Start looking for the real guy who's stabbing motherfuckers.
So O.J. Simpson.
1997, he wants to be a boxer.
Oh, boy.
Of course he does. Like every Greg Hardy asshole, he's got to be a boxer.
Fighting women?
Starts to train and gets a fight set for March 22nd, 1997. His pro debut, all ready to go. But, again, with him, on March 9th, 1997, which is also the day that Biggie got shot and killed.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
March 9th, 1997. He is arrested, so he's not going to have this fight now because he's going to be in jail.
Right.
He went to the home of his girlfriend, Jennifer. Remember Jennifer from fucking 4 years ago? And she's punching him and no, that was Patricia.
Oh, this is Jennifer on top of the thing.
This is Vegas Jennifer
20th
here.
Floor.
20th floor balcony, getting beat in the face after being knocked down and kicked.
Why is he talking to her?
Apparently, he shows up at her house at about 8 a.m. 8 a.m.
early.
Harassing her and her boyfriend, a guy named Randy Guess. Now, the woman here, Jennifer, told police that he banged on her windows and door and later drove his car at her and Guess as they tried to flee from the home.
Whoa.
They tried to run away. He chased them with his car and tried to run them down.
Oh, my God.
This is fucking crazy. She also says that Clarence sideswiped Randy Guess with his car while he's not, he's on foot. And while yelling obscenities at them as he drove away.
What year is this?
97.
Oh God, there are cell phones.
He hit a man with his car and then cursed at him as he drove away. That'll teach you, cocksucking motherfucking bastard.
Fucking my girl.
Oh my God. She accused him of abuse and got another restraining order against him. He already obviously did 4 months in jail last year for this, and he's on probation for violating the restraining order last time.
Yeah, because those mean nothing to him.
No, absolutely, they're paper to him. They're absolute paper to him. I mean, nothing at all.
They are a driver's license to him.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Useless.
It's just paper. Whether it's in your favor or against you, it's still worthless. Who cares? Wow. So the earliest he's going to be in jail all weekend there. And, this is fucking nuts. Oh, also charged with reckless driving because you can't drive on people's lawns and try to run people down. Right. That's crazy. Since 1990, this is his 14th arrest.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
May 1997, again violates the restraint. Dude, what the fuck?
This is arrested twice a year.
Stop doing this.
Yeah.
Stop. He again fucking violates the restraining order. Again. It's like he gets out of fucking jail and he's like, well, I better go to Jennifer's house. Tell her about this shit.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're not going to believe what the toilets look like in there.
This was for phone calls, I believe, and harassing phone calls. You're not even seeing what satisfaction are you getting out of that? For nothing. July 1997. That was May. July. Guess what? They arrest Clarence again. For what? Stalking Jennifer at home.
Stalking.
Again. Jesus. Now he's stalking outside. This is crazy. They find him literally prowling around the outside of her home.
Why would you...
Stalking her.
At this point, what do you get out of that?
He's a sick person. Yeah. That's what it is. He's a sick person that
James,
has
you know what? He's
ownership.
gotten everything he's ever wanted his entire life. Yeah. And now he can't have these women.
They won't have him.
They don't want him.
He will not take that for an answer.
Wow.
Just like OJ. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
There's this big article from this time about how, why the fuck there's all these athletes that they don't do shit for while the OJ trial's going on. Like, don't they see this is what happens to people? You can't, when someone repeatedly for years acts like they own somebody here, it's not going to end up well.
Because you teach them that they do.
That's the thing.
They own everything.
That's it. So he's arrested for that in July 97, and he's held in jail.
Good.
And he's going to be sentenced again. They give him a chance to speak, and he says, quote, "I'm ashamed for my family and friends and for myself to have to go through this because I know in my heart that what I did was wrong. I feel like I have disobeyed the court order." Because you fucking did repeatedly. I feel like I have. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Yeah, the judge is like,
that bitch.
Judge is like, we finally agree on something. I feel like you've disobeyed the court order as well. As a matter of fact, you, sir, may fuck off 540 days in jail.
Okay.
That is, that's over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So that's almost 2 years.
That?
2 years would be 720. Okay. So
good.
2 years is 730.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a shitload of time. That's it's a lot. It's
a stalking charge.
It's a year and a half.
Good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So not too shabby. September of 1997, he's in jail.
Yeah.
And he gives a jailhouse interview.
Oh boy.
And he says, quote, "I know it'll be hard for a lot of people to believe, but I'm serious about turning my life around. A lot of good is coming out of this." Great. We've never heard this before.
Right.
This is like, he's a crime and sports classic.
Yeah.
Like he's a classic.
He's super good now.
A lot of good is coming out of this. Yeah, well, let's feel bad for him. I know it's hard to believe, but I don't belong in jail.
I'm going to turn my life around now.
Now, after I've already caused people to be fear for their lives,
certainly
and need therapy forever,
out of the NFL and every opportunity to make money.
So why not?
Oh boy.
You should feel bad for me. As a matter of fact,
Care for me.
That's right. And also, well, you would feel bad for these poor women.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for everybody, Jimmy, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Clarence Kay, the chief executive officer of Funky Records.
What?
Funky, it's funky with a money sign at the end of it. So Funkies, I guess he's maybe
Funky Money.
He's funky, and records with a Z.
Oh no.
He lives in Zambia, so I feel like he saw like 4 minutes of MTV one time, and he's like, "Funky records, I make for you.
Do it.
Hey, I make the beats that make you dance." And he's like, "Fucking hey." That's what I figure he's like. He's seen 4.5 minutes of American TV, and he's ready to go.
He thinks Ed Lover and that other guy,
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. God,
Dr.
Jesus,
Dre.
sorry.
No, not the rap. The big fat guy. He's so funny.
He's dead, sir. Very dead.
I see him last week on TV. I get things laid in Zambia, I think. I don't know why I gave him that accent. Other than I didn't want it to be real.
It's
I just
solid.
gave him, hey, why? I don't
Crazy
know.
character.
Yeah, just a character accent.
Doesn't know what's on TV today.
He doesn't know it's
He's
on.
fun.
Hey, why? Hey.
He'll be a SoundCloud. When he finds out about SoundCloud, he will be one of those rappers.
Absolutely. Just recording it right into his phone and then hitting upload with no edits or anything. Just done. There's like fucking kids yelling in the background.
In 2032, he's going to be a huge SoundCloud rapper.
No shit. And finally, a doctor from like 1903 who read the locomotor ataxia at the meeting of the Clark County Medical Society in Springfield, Ohio in 1910.
What is that?
I have no fucking idea.
But he's
read
it.
He's a very respected man, though.
Where was it?
100 years. Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, Ohio, they were
Very
impressed with somebody to read.
Very impressed with it, where they put it in a book.
They wrote it down. Who read that? Clarence? Okay. That is impressive.
January 2004. He's, guess what? Arrested in Aurora, Colorado on suspicion of burglary.
Just outside of Denver.
Suspicion of burglary after he's accused of, guess whose house he broke into? An ex-girlfriend.
What the fuck?
What a fucking shocker. Broke into her home.
Yeah.
She went to call 911 and he grabbed her.
Yeah.
Took the phone away from her.
Isn't good.
Which is another fucking charge that you can't do here. They saw, the officers ended up seeing scrapes and bruises on the women, marks, not bruises, but red marks and shit like that. Apparently, he and this woman had been drinking together when this happened, but they ended up fighting. She asked him to leave. He came back, didn't let her call 911. And then he walked, a mile to the police station to file a report against her to say that she slapped him. But halfway through the report, he just stopped and left. They were like, sure, fill this out. And he's like, great. And he filled out half of it, and then he was just gone. He just said, never mind.
Yeah.
And he fucking left. I don't want to write things. I just wanted to yell about her. I just wanted to complain about her. I know I'd have to write some shit down. The woman ended up calling police, though, and saying that he broke back into her home through a window,
Again?
by the way. No, this was...
Okay.
After he left.
After he left the police station.
Yeah, he filled out half a report, was like, you know what, I should just take care of this shit myself.
We're going to handle this internally.
And then he went, we decided this is an internal problem. Went to her house, broke in through a window, and then grappled with her again. And that's when police came and arrested him there. And so, this is I'd say a pattern.
Yeah.
By the way, the walking a mile to the police station, 3:45 a.m. he did this.
After 1 a.m.
After 1 a.m. He would be so suspended.
Dan Reeves would be pissed.
He'd be not happy. April 12th, 2006, he is arrested again for domestic violence this time. He gets into a, quote, a shoving match with his girlfriend. Okay.
You don't do...
No. There's no match.
No.
If you're a huge tight end in the NFL...
certainly overmatched.
You're just shoving your girlfriend. That's it. And she might shove you back, but it's really not going to have much effect on you. Defensive lineman, you had to fucking stop Lawrence Taylor from pushing past you. She's not going to get by you, I don't think. So, wow. He gets in a shoving match with her and ends up grabbing her and ramming her head into her carport.
That's not a match.
That is fucked up in Edgewater. This is again. Rams her head a couple times apparently into the carport. Makes some marks and bruises. She calls the cops, obviously, and he's arraigned on a misdemeanor domestic violence charge. That sounds like more than misdemeanor.
He's gotta
Jesus
stop
Christ.
hitting women.
And they that's the most obvious statement we've ever had. He's just got to stop hitting women. Really? I don't know. It's pretty good for him.
Women are really his downfall.
Yeah, and this woman now issues a temporary restraining order against him. He's the most restrained motherfucker we've ever had. I've never heard anyone with so many restraining orders from so many different
restrained
people.
Yet so unrestrained.
That's what I'm saying. He's scheduled to appear in court in April. He's going to end up pleading guilty. It's guilty to harassment in a domestic case is what it is. And the judge says, you, sir, again, fuck off. 6 months in jail this time.
Okay.
He ends up doing for that. Jesus Christ. August 17th, 2008. He's arrested for violation of a restraining order for harassment by striking or shoving again. He pleads guilty to this again and does a little time again in 2008. Same woman.
How much does he hate masturbation?
He must.
How much does
he must love it because these women are never wanting to have sex with him.
But I mean,
they hate his guts. They're like, stop, get away from my house.
He hates it so much that he will try to get back in the good graces of a woman that loathes him.
Will keep
and
calling
he
the
knows
cops.
It.
Jesus. Okay, that was August of 2008. January 7th, 2009, he is arrested and held in the Denver County Jail after being arrested for harassment and violating a fucking restraining order again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So that goes on. He does some time, some restraining orders here and there. February 5th, 2017, he is arrested for driving without a license and driving while license revoked for DWI.
Oh, that's great.
So again, his license is still, it's been 31 years. He still doesn't have a driver's license.
It's like somebody we know.
30, it really is. It really is. Holy fucking shit.
At this point, though, if your license is, I mean, I don't know how laws are in Colorado on it, but if they're anything like here where your license is, you get a DUI for, on a license that's suspended for DUI, you are fucked.
You're so fucked.
I hope he gets 7 years for this.
He's so fucked. Well, I think he was out and about. We'll see. But he's arrested for that. Now, I have a quote here from Carl Mecklenburg's book.
Yeah.
The Bronco. Great nose tackle there, our defensive
Hall of
lineman.
Famer.
It's Heart of a Student Athlete, All Pro Advice for Competitors and Their Families, is what it's called. And it's kind of a book that's like, you need to try this and do that. But it's also like, hey, you're going to get people that are going to, it's very much like, almost like an NFL rookie symposium.
Yeah, here are the lessons that I learned watching Mr. K.
It really is. Yeah. And he has a chapter dedicated to that where I will quote Mr. Mecklenburg. Yeah. He says, quote, cocaine is another insidious drug, because he was talking about other drugs. Yeah. Players using cocaine have great strength and stamina, but in the meantime, they're destroying their lives and their health. With cocaine, you don't feel the pain, but that doesn't mean you aren't injuring yourself. I played with Clarence Kay for his whole career. Clarence had a well-documented cocaine problem. He has been in and out of jail for much of his adult life because of his addiction. The last time I saw Clarence, he was working at Grease Monkey.
What?
Now, if you're not American, Grease Monkey is like a Jiffy Lube. It's like cheap oil changes.
Right.
He's an oil change guy.
It's bulk oil change. It's oil change after oil change all day. He's draining oil and filling oil.
He was working at Grease Monkey, and Carl Mecklenburg. Imagine your ex-teammate comes up to get his oil change. Right. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
It gets worse, okay? He was working at Grease Monkey. He had blown all the money he had earned in the NFL, and his ex had a restraining order on him. We know that.
Yeah.
He told me that Dan Reeves had talked to him about coaching in Atlanta.
What?
Dan Reeves was going to fucking hire this idiot to coach in Atlanta. Oh my God. But that he wouldn't take the job because Dan insisted that he wanted him to take drug tests.
Wow. I'd rather change oil and do coke.
Yep, that's what he says.
Have nothing to do with the NFL.
He says, quote, Steve Howe, Lawrence Taylor, Hollywood Henderson, and many other athletes have had their own personal battles with cocaine. Cocaine can do nothing for you but tear your life apart. Imagine being so addicted to coke that you would rather have it and your Grease Monkey job than a chance to coach in the NFL. Cocaine is nothing to mess with.
I can't imagine.
I would fucking say so.
Read that first sentence, though, again, from Carl.
Which one?
Where he said, cocaine is an insidious drug. However,
players using cocaine have great strength and stamina.
Period. End of the rest of this.
That's all they need to know.
I don't want to know
steroids, all that.
Don't say that, Carl. Never say that ever.
Now, it'll make you a better player, but don't tell a kid that.
This will give you much more opportunity to make much more money.
Now, you can get a scholarship at a great school, but you'd much rather play for a Division II school and sell insurance later, I'm sure. Now,
enjoy Wichita State.
You would think, oh shit, have fun. Well, it's a good baseball school. Now, you would think at this point, no one who's ever had anything to do with Clarence ever wants anything to do with him again. He's not getting invited to Bronco reunions. No. John Elway's having a barbecue to, celebrate the 86 season. Clarence ain't invited, I'm thinking.
He may try to crash the party.
He'll jump in through a window or something, but he's not invited.
No.
So they're going to have to get a restraining. If you want him to come, just get a restraining order on him. He'll show up. That's the thing. It's like the bat signal.
Yeah.
He sees a restraining order against him. He goes right to the source of it. Apparently his high school that he went to disagrees with it, and they think they should honor him.
Oh, my God.
On November 1st, 2019, he is inducted into the Seneca High School Hall of Fame.
What are they doing?
Hall of fucking Fame. They talk about, him and some other guy are getting Joe Don Reams from 1997
Joe
class
Don.
of. That's what he's doing. He is in a high school, brought him to their fucking place and said, we want to honor you, sir.
I mean, if you
Great
only
player.
do it on merit of his high school.
Oh, amazing.
Great.
But you don't bring that guy around the kids. He's constantly arrested.
He's
going to
ask the kids for coke.
Yeah, you got any coke? Someone's going to get a restraining order on him.
I lettered 4 times in 3 different sports. Do you have coke?
Do you have coke, please? Anybody? Where's that shawarma man? Wow, can't get enough Clarence Kay?
I've had enough.
Holy shit, man. You can go to sports.ha.com where you can bid on a game-worn white Broncos jersey of Clarence Kay.
For $40.
It's an auction. I don't know. It's a bidding thing, so who the hell knows?
I might do it.
And there's a bunch of cards out there and stuff. I mean, you can find a bunch of Clarence Kay shit.
The game-worn jersey, it's got to be cheap, right?
It's an auction, so I don't know how. It's like one. Yeah. It's not like an eBay thing where it goes on.
Right, but
there's
that's
like
my
an
point.
auction all at once. I don't know where
There's nobody bidding on that.
I can't imagine anyone's bidding on unless they're a Seneca High School student that doesn't know any better.
Unless it's his mom.
I can't imagine anyone is bidding on a goddamn Clarence Kay jersey.
I don't think that website takes coke as a payment.
That would be great.
Because he might want it.
He might,
I mean?
but they, like you said, they don't take coke.
If I bid $20, I win. He doesn't have that.
Poor Clarence doesn't have $20
out of his Grease Monkey paycheck.
Well, I'm sure he's at least minimum wage. Let's garnish his Grease Monkey job
to win his jersey.
Wow, that is Clarence Kay, everybody. Did you? Like I said, that guy's around.
Fucking idea.
No idea. No. I didn't know till this week, and I saw a couple of arrests. I'm like, oh, he sounds like a bad guy because I was looking up somebody else, and then I just looked him up. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy got arrested.
He's one of the worst guys.
He's a fucking nightmare, and I had no idea he's out there. This This is why I say crime and sports. We say, oh, we don't know how many we have, but there's always more.
Yeah.
This wasn't on my list.
No.
I didn't know Clarence Kay existed.
He just presents himself.
That's what I mean. So we're going to get a lot of those too, and we're going to keep coming back constantly. And don't worry, we'll keep this around as long as we possibly can. If you enjoyed the show, I know how you can tell us about it. Please go to Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. We don't understand why you need to do this, but it really helps the show. I don't know why, but it drives us up the charts, helps other people find the show, which in turn makes you go higher up the charts, and everything works out better for you. It doesn't matter what you say. You can write anything in there and just say, they're making me do this, and that's fine.
Right.
I'm following instructions. That works out just fine. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. Don't forget about that. If you're not listening to Small Town Murder, you are missing out. Live shows for Small Town Murder. Like we said, Denver and Salt Lake City are sold out, but February 15th and 16th, we're in Indianapolis and in Louisville. Come check us out there. That's going to be a blast. And all over the rest of the country, the Columbus show in November is on sale officially now. I'll get that date for you right now. November 21st, right before Thanksgiving. Come see us, hang out, and then eat some turkey and shit with your family. I don't know, because we're also in Pittsburgh and Cleveland that weekend. So we are
that'll be good.
Doing a November tour of places you don't want to be in November.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
We'll put our parkas on. We're going to be there. So that's all fine. Do that. Follow us. Hang out with us on the website there. Also, head over to our social media. You want to follow us there so you can get the latest things, like these tickets that went on sale. They came out this morning on social media.
Right.
If you don't follow us, you wouldn't know that. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram there, and we're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod for Small Town Murders social media. So check us out there. Do that. But if you want to be a hero of ours, and this is honestly, also, by the way, I do want to thank everybody for their, I know people were donating to stuff in Australia last week, and people were just lending words of support, and it was good to hear from a lot of us, our Australian listeners, just telling us that they were okay, and that, just what's going on over there. And,
it's crazy.
You want to hear it. You can listen to the news all you want, but you got to hear it from people who are there.
Getting a video on Instagram from somebody who's there.
It's different.
And the guy had like 11 cars or whatever. Everything burned except for one car, his like cherished Rolls Royce, which is pretty kick ass.
That's pretty awesome.
But everything else that he owned is fucking gone. It's all
horrible,
gone,
man. It's horrible. So do that. If you want to donate to the show, you can do that very easily. And we're going to go over our list of producers. God damn it, our favorite people, the people who keep the show going and who are the most wonderful people. We're going to give you that in just one moment. But if you want to do that, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can make a one-time donation there. And if you want to get a hold of the show or any show suggestions for either Small Town Murder or Crime and Sports, the Gmail address is the best place to do that. Jimmie, I can't take it anymore. I need to hear the names of the most amazing people in the world. I really do. Jimmie, violate me like a restraining order.
This week's executive producers are Tanya Volanek, Tiffany Rubenstein.
I saw that. I was like, yeah.
What am I doing?
Jordan like Bennett. Tiffany Robertson, too.
Yeah, she's great, too.
She's great, too.
Jordan Bennett and Simon Shedd.
Thank you.
Christine Crew, Catherine Murray, and Carissa B. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
really,
you guys. You guys are awesome.
It's so humbling and just it's amazing to see you guys doing what you do for us. Thank you. Alice Daly, Jackie Sukup, Jeffrey A., Chelsea Morgan, Janice Hill, Blue, would no last name, just Blue, Thomas Smith, Patrick Lau, Emily Riefenhofer, Riepenhoff. Yep. Matthew Seddon.
Something German.
Yes. Matthew Seddon, Susanna Platt, Chris Brudendahl, I think. Sandra Workman, Kristen Stopzig. What is that? Oh, it's Kristen Stop Being Grim Karen. That's what it is. And that is Love Amanda Rutherford.
Beautiful.
Alyssa Atkinson, Jesse Hartman, Joshua Austin, Martina Lilulonga. I always.
Hi, Martina.
I'll always
see you in San Francisco.
See you then, dear. Thanks for the Christmas card. Alexandria Fraser, Chad Sutton, James Martyr, Maria Goal, Kenneth Baker, Corey Kuhn, I think. Yeah. It's 2 Ks. That's tough. Rachel Stora, Christopher Irvine, Josephine Gavinier, I think, maybe. Kelly Pearson, Christina Thomas, Reagan Shaukley, Rachel Cox, Miranda B., Robin Anderson, Annette Carey, I think that's what that says. Diana Tripp, Gretchen Harrison, Susan Harvey, Hannah Colelli, Tony Francisco, Kristen with no last name, Jocelyn Cooksey donated both ways. Thank you so much, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Krista Walker, damn it. Susie Brandt, Peyton Meadows, Joshua Hilliard, Pinwheel Books, I don't know what it is, Google it, I suppose. Megan Wickline, Anna's Herbalife, or Herbalife, right?
Herb?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Ben Saulnier, Carla Broman, Not Sure 3. That's what they wanted.
All right.
I don't know.
We are sure.
So, yeah, we are positive. Katie Emerson, John Lopez, Ashley Vio, Jason Covert, Christopher Nesmith, True Design Homes. No, Haas. What is that? Hosey? I think it's True Design House. I think that's
probably.
True.
That makes sense.
Sarah Hart, Nicholas Howard, Charles Buchet, Lisa Weikert. That's Weicker. Madison Schilling, Sharon Gooch. This week is brutal. Samantha Ballard,
rough names this week.
Gwendolyn Van Veen, Miles McCallan, Anya, Larry. That's Lanny. Lanny Blunk, Bobby Sanchez, Lauren Hill. Probably not that one, right? No, it's Lauren Hall. So. That's why.
Oh, well, definitely not.
Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Cassie Howard. No, Cassie Harris. Jesse Bone. I think Boan, Allison Howard, Trevor Greenberg, Brittany Whitehill, Mario Guerra, Corinne Campbell, Rosa Martinez, Jesus, whew, breather, Samantha Gibson, Deborah Bryant, Emma Keeger, Toast, no last name, I think that's a cat or a dog. Toast,
well,
I believe
thanks,
so. Yeah. Alex,
he's a good boy.
He is a good boy. Alex Bacon, Susie Collette, Stephen Hancock, Shanna with no last name, Tracy Mitchell, Jesse Mendez, Jessica Hagan, James Pugsley, Anais Ross, Laura Ashburn, Michaela Campaigner, Trevor Greenberg, Kelsey Cunningham, Marissa Miller, Alyssa Sylvester, Valerie Jordan, Zach Savignac, Jordan Galash, John Clapsaddle, Jim Crow, probably not that one.
I hope not.
Kate Gilbert, Sam Pippinger, Jim Darkangelo, not Light Angelo.
That's the opposite.
Alana Ochoa, Shit Strap? No, Strap 1983. Christina
Strap.
I don't know what's happening.
I guess not.
Christina Keeter, Caitlin Cody, Tara Strumminger, Allison Wenman, Joanna Bond, Part Gary. That guy, man, he's a hell of a man.
Shit strap.
I've
never heard those words put together before.
Neither have they. Randall Getz, Taylor nope. Sorry, Taylor. Sechnalap.
At least you didn't call her shit strap. It's better than that.
John Kensinger, Harrison Dunham, Katrina Hotari, Megan O'Donnell, Clementine Brown, Alex B. Mayer, Matt Davis, Mary Weaver, Kevin Gilliand, Angela Preciadio. Listen, I'm doing my damnedest, and it's so fucking hard. The last people I have, I like to write down in my notes right quick the people that send me things like James Eberly and his wife Ashley had a baby Jackson, and he is in the NICU, and and they are the sweetest people, and I hope little Jackson pulls through.
Man.
Thank you guys all.
I've been there. That's rough.
I know you have. Thank you guys all so much for the support that you guys offer us. We can't do this without you. And pull through, little Jackson. We're thinking of you, buddy. Thank you.
thank you, everybody. Thank you. From the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah.
We cannot thank you enough. We really do love this show.
Yeah.
More than you know. We get it. We have people tell us, oh, we like Small Town Murder. I listen every week, but I love Crime and Sports. And that's how we feel. We completely understand. We get it. It's just, there's just something about it.
Feels
where
good.
It's reckless abandon. You know, I don't know. It's about not, it's hard. No one's going to get mad, and if anyone does get mad, it's going to be someone who deserves it.
Right.
It's going to be an athlete, and we're going to go, "Hey, fuck you, dude!
Right.
You shouldn't have got arrested 45 times for violating restraining orders,
and
dummy.
beating up women and driving drunk and
Stop,
never having a goddamn license,
ever having a license." But it's just. It's amazing, though.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for everything you do. What if people wanted to thank you, Jimmie? How could they get a hold of you?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Thank you. It's been a humbling week. Really appreciate it, guys. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description and do it that way, because it's probably easier to search for than you spelling it yourself. Do that. Find us. Keep on listening. Listen to Small Town Murder every Thursday. We're just so excited, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us always, and we're jacked for the next 2 years of Crime and Sports, and maybe even a little beyond that. We're going to try to stretch them out as long as we can. Live from the Crime and Sports studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.